4 glaives of Azeroth, Illidan's weapon of choice. Oh, that's an easy 600 Azerite.
So with these equipped, the Demon Hunter could get in like 4 attacks a turn, right? They don't really mess around.
Yeah, it's insane, isn't it? Check this out. Oh.
Doesn't work.
Fell dog whistle. That's worth 50.
50 what?
50! This whistle really brings a beast to the yard. And with some ingenuity, you can upgrade him.
Hey, boss, this one's moving.
Oh, yeah, danger! Oh, yeah, danger! Whoa, that is an imprisoned observer. So imprisoned demons are dormant for 2 turns. They can't be interacted with, and then they do something really cool. This one's eye lasers can be devastating, but it's okay. We're safe for 2 turns.
How long did you say?
2 turns. Hey, kitty carrier. That's worth a couple bucks.
Hey, I found a spiky, jagged chainsaw and some metal snakes.
Oh, weird. Yeah, I don't know what this stuff might be worth. We're gonna call my buddy Chad. He's my go-to guy for jagged, rusty chainsaws and metal snakes.
Oh, yeah. What you've got there are relics of a couple of primes. An amazing find. Primes are a new mechanic in Ashes of Outland. Here's how they work. They're powerful characters who get shuffled back into your deck when destroyed. Like Kargath Bladefist. If he's destroyed, he comes back, rebuilt as chainsaw-handed Kargath Prime. A 10/10 who gives you armor? Nasty. And those snakes belong to Lady Vaj. Spell damage is great, but when she comes back, she's bringing a handful of spells with her. In Ashes of Outland, there's a new threat. A rusted legion that's remaking minions into mechanical monstrosities.
Yeah, that's great. But, I mean, look at this stuff here. I mean, this is worth at least, like, what, 60,000 Darkmoon Fair tickets?
Best I could do is 250.
What's this guy know? He doesn't know anything.
I thought you said he was your chainsaw and snake guy.
Yeah, but, you know, the thing with a rusted chainsaw hand is you gotta find the right collector.
Fair.
Oh, nice dagger. It's 100 shards. Whoa, poisonous. That's like 400 shards. Poisonous daggers are good times. Just, you know, avoid the pointy end. She'll be fine.
Got some glowing orange mushrooms.
Oh, these are glow caps. The Sporagar of Zangarmarsh would use these as a form of currency.
There must be 20 glow caps in here. What's that worth?
Like 20 glow caps. Oh, the verdant spheres of Kael'thas. Kael'thas is cool. We should just give everybody Kael'thas. That's worth at least 3,000 timeless coins. Check me out, check me out, check me out, check me out, check me out. 2,000 timeless coins. Be careful with those.
Oh. Whoa.
Okay, all right, hold still. I think what you're experiencing is called a metamorphosis.
Is that good?
It depends. Do you like to wear hats? So in this form, as a demon hunter, your hero power does 5 damage.
Starting to really like demon hunters.
I know.
Hey, it's the key to another locker.
Oh, wow. Somewhere behind one of these doors, in this maze of storage lockers, is the ultimate artifact. We're gonna find it. We're gonna scour this place. If it takes days, if it takes weeks,
Hey, Dave, is this it?
Oh, that's it. Cool. Whoa! It's a dark portal. We found a dark portal. Imagine what we could summon with this. That's priceless.
Priceless!
I think we should go inside.
Okay, I'm calling Chad. We're to find out what this sucker's worth. Yeah, hey, Chad? Yeah, so, we found a dark portal.
Dark portals are bad.
Uh-huh.
Very bad.
Yeah,
You didn't open the dark portal, did you?
maybe.
Do not go into the dark.
I think we should check it out.
Sorry about that, guys. Anyways, pleasant afternoon to everybody. My name is Asarai, and I'll be your host for today's show, which is called Hearth to Hearth Talk, presented to you by AKG Games Philippines. Now, if you don't know, guys, AKG Games Philippines is the local partner of Blizzard Entertainment, with their head office being located in Indonesia. And of course, Blizzard Entertainment, not needing any introductions, is the one responsible for awesome games such as Warcraft, Overwatch, StarCraft, Diablo, and of course, Hearthstone. Now, what is Hearth to Hearth Talk? It is a talk show where we'll be discussing about the new changes to Hearthstone right now. And if you're an avid follower, if you're an avid gamer of Hearthstone, you know the big changes. It's Ashes of Outlands, it's Year the Phoenix. But of course, we'll talk about that more in a bit. Just an extra to you guys out there. Hope you're all doing well during these times and staying safe and, kind of, I guess, enjoying the free time that you have right now. Kind of just refreshing yourself and playing tons and tons of video games. Without further ado, of course, I'm not going to be the only one to talk during the show because that's going to be a bit boring. I actually have guests with me that know more about Hearthstone, and I'd like to introduce them right now. Of course, our first guests are right here. You can see them already. First up, I'm going to introduce them. Quick intro. So the one to the middle here of our screen is Gaea. She is known to have started playing Hearthstone during her first year in college, originally planning to pursue a career in science. She made the leap to esports while completing her molecular biology degree at University of the Philippines, and because of her excellent communication skills and sense of humor, which I have already experienced firsthand, she has become a shoutcaster who is natural to the talent. So Gaea, say hi to the viewers.
Hey everybody, thank you for the very kind introduction, Asarai. I would say a lot of people can debate whether my sense of humor is actually good or not, but that's not the topic for today.
Yeah, all right. We'll maybe discuss it some other time. Next up, of course, is the other guest, notable for being one of the best players in Southeast Asia. You might have seen him years ago. I actually watched him live, I believe, one of the tournaments here in the Philippines. He has also qualified in the Masters Tour for this year, 2020. You know him, you love him. It's Waning Moon.
Hi everybody.
Yeah. Glad to have you guys here. I cannot wait. Of course, we still have two more guests later on, which you might have seen in the AKG Games Philippines posts. So, be sure to stay tuned for that. Of course, before everything else, I'd like to tell to you guys that we'll be giving away some awesome prizes, such as the Ashes of Outlands Mega Bundle and a couple of classic card packs. So do stay tuned for that, guys. Now, let's go on to, I guess, to start the discussion as of the moment. It is Year of the Phoenix. We are now on to phase 1, and we have a bundle of changes that have gotten into Hearthstone as of the moment. Yeah, you can see it here on your screens now, guys. With the Year of the Phoenix, you got your Hall of Fame cards, the new ones that have been put to the Hall of Fame, the phase 1 roadmap, the Legendary Quest, as well as the free deck for new and returning players. I have actually availed of this one and have been really enjoying the free deck that I got. The rank Revamp for those who are very competitive in Hearthstone. The new class, of course, Illidan, the Demon Hunter. And of course, the expansion that came with it, Ashes of Outlands. And later on, with one of our special guests, we'll be having a pack opening experience. So guys, if if you're already here and you want your friends to join, why not share the stream? We're live again here at AKG Games Philippines. So I've said a mouthful, but I think we can already start with the meaty discussions. I'm sorry, I'm hogging all the spotlight here, guys. Yeah. So anyways, okay. Thank you. So anyways, let's talk about it again. We'll begin with, I believe, with the Hall of Fame cards. Now, these are the cards that are, I believe, removed from standard play, so you can only play them in the wild. Is that right, guys?
That's absolutely correct. And they removed a few from many different classes, but mainly Priest lost many cards, and they were replaced with all new cards in the basic set.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we're still kind of going through the rundown here real quick. Anyways, those are the Hall of Fame cards, or rather, we'll be discussing the Hall of Fame cards in a bit. Um, yeah, so like I said, we do have the Phase 1 roadmap, which is already out on the Hearthstone website. If you guys want to check that out as well, you can see the plan of the Hearthstone development team later on. So yeah, I think we are ready to talk about the Hall of Fame cards. So let's kind of begin already. Obviously, you guys have already seen the bundle of cards that have been removed. I think it's a maximum of 11 cards, was it? I think we have six regular cards and then five from the priest class that was removed.
Yeah, it's a bunch of those. And
Mm-hmm.
for me, the obvious, most impactful removal is Leroy Jenkins because that has been the staple finisher deck since the beginning of Hearthstone, basically. And
Mm-hmm.
just speaking from my own experience, as soon as these were rotated, because the move from these cards to standard to wild is already live, unlike most of the things on this list. And then
Yeah.
all of my decks, almost all of them, just became unplayable in standard. And I just noticed how influential Leroy is in the meta. So that's a big, big change.
Yeah, he came out like 2 decades ago and is still making us smile. You know, it's one of the things that we'll definitely miss for the standard play. So, okay, you've pointed out Leroy, and I kind of wanted to direct this next question to Waning Moon, my man. You know,
Yeah.
looking at these Hall of Fame cards, I'm seeing a lot of how do I say this, like OG cards out here. Which one of these cards do you think you're gonna miss the most? You know, in standard or at least competitive play.
Uh, I guess Leroy was the most impactful of the cards that they
Mm-hmm.
took out. Like, it was really an important part of a lot of decks to close out games.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember the first tournament I ever played. Uh, I was Leroy was in I think 2 out of my 3 decks, and then it was I think Miracle Rogue and Face Hunter. So that's how far back my relationship goes with Leroy. I
Man.
remember I won that tournament with like a Leroy Shadow Step or something. And yeah, that's probably the card that I'd miss the most.
Well, that's kind of like a weird out of sync breakup that we'll definitely don't want to experience anymore. But
Yeah, and
anyways, yeah,
back then he
yeah.
was 4 mana, so they've actually nerfed him, and now they're
Yeah.
finally moving into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Well, at least we
Another
can
one I
still
want
see
to
him.
note
Yeah.
is Mountain Giant, if that's fine, because that's
Yeah. Go
also a
ahead.
card that's been a staple in many of the slower decks in Hearthstone. So most
Mm-hmm.
recently, it was a powerful card in Mage, either a Highlander or in Conjur's Calling Mage, just because it's just so much value to play that early and then use Conjur's Calling on it. If you're an older player, you'll remember Mountain Giant from Handlock, so that's going to be one that's also missed. Personally, I'm surprised about Acolyte being moved because I don't think the card is problematic, but that's a card that has been in so many warrior decks and many combo decks that just want a cycle. So that's just like in general a big, powerful source of neutral card draw that's going to be removed.
Yeah, that's actually kind of that's one of the things I've kind of seen a theme here with these normal Hall of Fame cards here. We either have Leroy Jenkins or these other two cards that can allow for extra drawing of cards from your deck, and then we also have Spellbreaker here, and obviously the last one, which is the Mind Control tech. So what, like, I'm just curious, like, what do you guys think? This is kind of just a question from me. What do you guys think about, what the Northshire Cleric and Acolyte of Pain, um, removing them from play now? How does this kind of affect the players who use them? Like, do they have to like try to find ways to draw cards more, or do they have to kind of just try to find a different deck altogether because they can't draw the cards that they wanted to before without the Northshire and the Acolyte of Pain?
I'll let
Yeah,
Dustin answer this first.
Yeah, okay.
I
Just
think
I think that
they're
was a super complicated question, but I'm just curious.
yeah. So I think their philosophy for removing these cards isn't necessarily that they're overpowered or that they're being used in every deck right now.
Yeah.
I think with the Acolyte, they just didn't want that. It was such a good source of draw that whenever you made a deck that needed to cycle cards, the Acolyte was almost always just automatically put in that deck, right?
Yeah.
So I think what Blizzard's trying to do is that they want players to rely more on class cards and cards that are specific to that year of play.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't necessarily have to see the same cards over and over again in the same types of decks. So it's not about them being too strong, it's more about seeing variety.
I will say, though, that with Northshire Cleric, obviously that's only hurting Priest because it's a class card. I would say Acolyte is almost directly hurting Warrior more than any other class because it was very important in many Warrior decks throughout the history of Hearthstone because it has so much synergy with the whirlwind effects you would see in Warrior. But particularly right now, Galakron Warrior kind of relied on Acolyte as a source of card draw, and now they're basically only relying on Battle Rage, and that is a meta competitive deck. So we'll see if that deck can adjust. For now, it still seems like it's still top tier.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna move away from the Hall of Fame cards, but before that, I kind of wanted to tell to the viewers out there, guys, this is of course open discussion everywhere, or rather here for Hearth to Heart Talk. So if you guys have any questions for me, but obviously more on Gaea and Waning Moon about what is happening right now in Year of the Phoenix, as well as the Ashes of Outlands expansion, be sure to do that. And as well as later on, we have, or rather, actually right now, you can join the giveaway for the Mega Bundle Pass. I haven't really talked about that, but I will right now. So there will be an image that will be popping up randomly during the stream, and you have to guess how many times overall during the stream it will pop out. And once you have your answer, you have to put in the chat, this is how you answer it, guys. This is the format. Hashtag AKG Games PH, and then right beside the PH is the guest number. So if I want to guess, let's say, hashtag AKG Games PH 23, because 23 is my favorite number, it pops out 23 times, I win, I get that Mega Bundle Pack. And that, guys, is super, super, how do you say this? Envious to get, because it is a really big value. I believe $79.99 on that Mega Bundle Pack. Anyways, let's get on to the next topic. Gaea was talking about priests here in whatnot. So there's also, I believe, the Hall of Fame cards from the priest deck, and there has actually been a lot of changes as well on the existing priest cards right now. But we'll talk about the Hall of Fame cards. So we have, I'll list them out here for you. The Hall of Fame card for the priests is the Divine Spirit, the Prophet Velen. I actually can't remember the meme. Maybe some one of you guys can tell me later. The Auchenai Soul Priest. This is, I've seen some like in some free to play decks. Auchenai Soul Priest is really, really good. Holy Fire and Shadow Form. So I asked Waning Moon earlier. Now I'll ask Gaea. What do you think about these cards? I think we can at least start with Prophet Velen. He's, I think, one of the stable things in one of the priest deck that need like a lot of damage. And yeah, I actually lost my thought there. But yes, Gaea, please.
I actually want to talk about the cards as a whole because I feel like in the competitive community, a lot of people have just been complaining about priest not really being true to its identity whenever it's strong in the meta. It's because an expansion gives it cards and really pushes it. Oh, you need to be a dragon deck now, or oh, you need to be a combo deck now with the Divine Spirit Inner Fire. And then Prophet Velen, the last time he was playable was in the Xerix Cloning Gallery Priest. So it seems like the core set didn't really have these cards standing up strong on their own, in my opinion. And so that's why they're kind of removing them and just coming up with a new, fresher set of cards that is, I would say, higher power level on average and maybe can synergize better with new expansions without necessarily being shoehorned into a specific archetype. So you're asking about Velen. I don't think it's a big loss. I mean, he hasn't been playable in Priest for what feels like over a year. So
Okay, that answers a little bit of my question. I'm kind of sad that I made a mistake about asking that, but it's good. Um, for newer players who might be interested in maybe trying to craft the cards such as these, it actually gives a lot of information for us. So how about Waning Moon? Yeah, Gia has already pointed out that need to get a bit more variety with how priests play. Do you think that's also the same thing here with these Hall of Fame cards being removed from the priest class?
Yeah, I think one of the themes that one of the themes in how they remove these cards is the divine spirit was used in OTK decks, in decks that would end the game in one turn in combo, and that's a play style that Blizzard isn't necessarily pushing for priest right now. Like Velen was used in a deck that uh, you would combo with Mind Blast to end the game in one turn, and
Yeah.
Mind Blast was actually Hall of Fame in a previous year, so it actually didn't make that much sense to keep Velen in the game anymore after that.
Mhm.
So the cards that they're replacing these cards with are more board control based, which is what I think Blizzard wants for Priest right now. They want us to put minions down and then trade and fight for the board. I think that's going to be the theme of Priest decks going forward, especially with the new expansion.
Okay, so you gotta add more minions to that board rather than just kind of keep relying on the spells at a later point in your matches. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
All right, awesome, awesome. All right, so next up, let's pierce through more about the priest. We're still here. We're still talking about the changes to the priest right now. Let's see these new updated priest cards that have, I believe, are already on the live servers. So first up, we have our three cards right here. So Thought Steal, which is copy two cards in your opponent's deck and add them to your hand, has been changed. I believe they changed the cost on this from 3 mana cost to 2. Yeah,
That's correct.
I see. Yeah, I see Gia nodding. So yeah, I did my research, guys. Next up is Shadow Word Death. Destroy a minion with 5 or more attack, now at 2 cost. We have also the Temple Enforcer that gives a friendly minion +3 health. So I think the Thought Steal and Shadow Word might give a little bit more edge here for those who play the Priest deck. But like, how big is big, or like how little is little with these cards actually being cheaper to play now if you draw them out of your deck? I'll ask that to Gia first.
I would say the most relevant change here is Shadow Word Death because that was the
Mm-hmm.
card that saw the most play even at 3 mana. So now that it's 2 mana, it is, easier to fit into a turn because even just the one change in mana cost means that instead of just spending your turn removing a minion, maybe you can remove and play a minion. And that's what, keeping control of the board is all about. It's not just removing, but usually developing your own things. And side note, it's also a buff to Zephyrus the Great because now you can discover early removal for your opponent's big minions at a cheaper cost.
Okay. So, just a quick question. This is like a benefit from me. How many cards or how many classes do you think Shadow Word Death will like be effective against? Like, this is just again
That's
from me that is a returning player. Like, do you think a lot? A lot is a good answer, but I kind of just wanted to know you and Waining's kind of insight on this.
That's a very good question. I mean, I would say it's quite useful against decks that prefer to go tall instead of wide, and there's a fair amount of those in the meta because if you're playing against a Galakron deck, usually if it's
Yeah.
warrior, they'll have buff minions. If you're against rogue, they'll have Kronks or whatever.
Yeah.
It's very good against Highlander Mage. But then I would say that if your opponent is already getting to play those big minions and then you have to discover a death to remove them, you might be falling behind. And it's tough to say because the meta will also change in a few days. So it remains to be
That's true.
seen, in my opinion.
Yeah, we still have to kind of play through. All right. So let's go to the next set of cards. This is so the next set of cards is obviously still priest. We have 4 of them. So Holy Nova, which is deal 2 damage to all minions and reduce 2 health to all friendly characters. We have Holy Smite, which is deal 3 damage to a minion. Power World Shield, which is give a minion plus 2 health. And then we also have Shadow Madness, which is gain control of an enemy minion with 3 or less, attack until end of turn. So this is, I guess we're going to ask Waning Moon what he thinks about this one. Waning, so I think the only one that I can remember here in terms of the changes is that Holy Smite is deal damage to a minion now. It's not anymore to also the hero. So what do you think about like these cards again interacting for the priest? Does this kind of help the priest control the board a little bit more and kind of focus on board rather than going to again faces the place, something like that?
Yeah, I'd say that with the exception of Power Word Shield, all these changes were buffs to the priest. Holy Nova is 1 mana cheaper. Holy Smite does 1 more damage. The fact that it doesn't go face isn't really as relevant for the type of priest that they're pushing right now.
Okay.
And Shadow Madness is also 1 mana cheaper. And also, as a side note, all of these cards were in Zephyrus' pool. So this definitely was also a buff to Zephyrus for these very, very strong removal cards. The nerf was Power Word Shield because this used to be a staple in almost every priest deck that started with early minions and needed to buff them. And I guess Blizzard felt that it was getting played too much, that its power level was too high because it used to cycle a card at the same time as buffing, and it cost almost nothing. So you would just play it to thin your deck out. So that was the change. That was the nerf in this set of cards, but everything else was buffed.
Okay. I actually kind of remember that Power Word Shield was played in conjunction with Northshire Cleric, so you kind of get like a really strong early minion out, plus you get a lot of value with just trading and then healing and then getting more cards. But that was like way back. All right.
Not as way back as you would think, honestly. That was being
really okay.
And Combo Priest.
And the last Masters Tour brought a Combo Priest.
Yeah. I also want to add that Holy Nova is just strictly better than Consecration from Paladin now. Same cost, but you also get healing. So just to give you an idea of the power level.
Except that it doesn't hit the enemy hero. That's still something.
Yeah, okay, but strictly aside in the priest context, which is like not dealing face damage anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, this is like really good insight for me and everybody else out there who are kind of curious what you guys think about these cards being tweaked to maybe push priest players to go for a different type of play style. So again, in theme of the priest still being our topic for right now, there are the new priest cards that have shown themselves. Okay, so we have a question from one of our audience here, our viewers. So I think I've kind of asked this question, but it's a different variant. So from Jed Guico, he's asking, what do you think of priest identity going forward? So like you guys said, the priest OTK is not a thing anymore in standard. What is the route to go now for priest? What do you think can be like the variants of the priest that can be played as of the moment, or at least this early into Ashes of Outlands? Let's let Waning Moon answer that first, then Gaea.
I think if you're going for a more board control based style, the natural route to go would be Highlander, right? Because you have Zephyrus, you have Alex. These decks are more mid range, right? You play threats on curve. You have removal. They do a bit of everything, and I think that seems to fit the cards that they're introducing for Priest right now. You play. You have ways to threaten at every stage of the game, and then you have answers at every stage of the game, and you have good ways to swing tempo.
Okay. Gia, how about you? What do you think is like the other way to play the priest? Is also the one that Waning was mentioning.
Yeah, I think that Resurrect Priest is probably still very strong. They didn't lose anything too relevant with the cards that got moved to Hall of Fame. They weren't playing Northshire Cleric to begin with, and now they have even stronger removal options aside from Mass Hysteria, Plague of Death. Holy Smite is like another penance for cheaper. Shadow Word Ruin, this new card, the fifth one in this list, is extremely powerful in that regard. And despite there being some more early game minions for Priest, I'm not sure that's enough to push it into an actual tempo based direction or just curving out. But I would like to see that because that would be something new from Priest, and you probably get more value out of the hero power in that way. But I can say that probably Resurrect is still the way I would go.
Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna ask real quick to you guys here before we move on to the next topic. So like Gia said, she's looking forward to the Shadow Word Ruin. So I think that's the one that I was gonna ask. What you think is the best card here? Is it the Shadow Word Ruin for you? For the new set of cards here for the priest?
Yeah, Shadow Word Ruin for sure. Like the other cards, if we're just talking about the current priest archetypes that are being used, you can't actually use these cheap minions, right? Because Resurrect Priest needs big minions. Their key card is a card that resurrects 3 minions that have died this game for 9 mana. So in a deck like that, you actually can't play small minions. You can't play things on curve like 1 mana, like the Psychic Conjure or the Cooliron Chaplain. You have to rely on removal in the early game and then big threats later on. So I guess Shadow Word Ruin is definitely the most relevant for the current meta. But for Ashes of Outland, we have no idea, right? Like Highlander Priest might actually become a thing. And if you do want to use these new cards, you'll have to go down that route.
Yeah. Awesome insight from you, man. Yeah, I kind of see the point where you're kind of directing towards here. All right, so that concludes the priest portion of this talk. I was about to say priest portion of this game. Well, it's kind of a game for our viewers out there. So if you guys want to again win the mega bundle, count how many of those special hardbacks are being shown throughout the show and guess how it is. Again, hashtag AKG Games PH, then the number. So it's all included in that hashtag, guys. Now, as we are going through more of the Year of the Phoenix changes, let's also talk about the. Hang on. Okay, yeah. So let's talk about the Phase 1 roadmap. So this is basically what Hearthstone wants to, or rather what Hearthstone has planned for all of us. So we'll just kind of go with a quick, brief. I'm gonna ask, what is your favorite part of Phase 1? Obviously, I guess all of us would probably say Demon Hunter, but it's put that out in Ashes of Outlands. For me, I would say that my favorite part of the Year of the Phoenix is the Battlegrounds update. I know I haven't really read through all of it, but I have been enjoying Battlegrounds as a game mode. It's really, really fun. Anyways, that's all for what I said. How about you, Gia? What's your favorite part in the Phase 1 roadmap, like, or something that you're looking forward to, aside from the Demon Hunter and the Ashes of Outlands? Because I feel like that's cheating if we say that.
Yeah, fair. I do also enjoy Battlegrounds, I will say, but the one that stands out to me is duplicate protection here. Oh my gosh. I mean, for anyone who isn't familiar, that means that when you open packs and you already have 2 copies of a card, you cannot get a third copy, which is just such a huge, huge help to everybody trying to complete their collection. Because, I mean, now you won't be trading in dust of that extra card, which is essentially in a 1:4 ratio. Like, you would have to disenchant 4 cards to get 1 card of the same rarity. And that really helps players that are on a budget. And I think this is a great, great move by Blizzard, especially since other card games are kind of following a more similar way of completing your collection. So they really, I believe, had to do something like that to keep up. economy wise.
Yeah. All right. So actually, that's great. I'm like we could do like if we could do like a virtual high five with like Hearthstone. Thank you, Hearthstone, for that. How about waning? Oh, thank you. All right. This yeah. Okay. Let's all do like a high five. Okay. Thank you, waning. All right, waning. How about you? What is your favorite thing that is here right now with the phase one of the roadmap, with exclusion of Demon Hunter and Ashes of Outlands?
I've also been kind of playing Battlegrounds recently, so yeah, that's exciting. They're adding new cards to Battlegrounds, and there was a new hero, the Demon Hunter, that they
Mm-hmm.
just introduced the other week.
Yeah.
Aside from that and duplicate protection, I guess the adventure is also pretty nice. Like we got to play the prologue so far,
Yes.
the prologue of that adventure that they're gonna release for free, and I think it was enjoyable. Like it was a well told story that's actually from Warcraft lore, right?
Yeah, it definitely did kind of give us a little bit more insight to how Illidan became the edgy, lovable hero that he is from that prologue. And obviously, guys, you can already play the prologue now. If you open up your Hearthstone clients, it is available to play in the adventures, and it's free. And then when you actually play it, you get to unlock the Demon Hunter class as well as I believe the free cards that come with it. So next up, we'll talk about first the legendary quest chain. So this is just brief. I think I'm just going to be the one to explain it. So the legendary quest chain is it's a quest chain, guys, where you play on certain dates in Hearthstone, and you'll be able to get free card packs. So, from what I can tell here, on April 8th, if you play the legendary quest chain, you get a couple of card packs on April 9th and April 10th. So, 3 straight days of playing Hearthstone. It's easy for you guys out there. You get free card packs. What's there to lose? Nothing. Very easy, very simple, and you get some freebies as well. Next up is okay. This one I'm really interested about, and we actually have, I believe, a couple of new players also in the chat. I've been looking. Um, yeah, so we're just showing you guys the quick legendary quest here, April 8th, 9th, and 10th. If you keep playing the game with those particular quests in mind, you get those free card packs. So next up is something that I definitely want to talk about, and this is the new and returning decks. So if you guys don't know, if you haven't played Hearthstone for a certain amount of time, I believe it was 4 months, and if you haven't played till March 17th or like March 17th, and you only played like after that, you will be able to get the free card pack, the free deck rather. And this
Well,
is
we
a
should
really
have
nice.
logged off
Yeah.
for 4 months.
Yeah, I should have logged up for form, and I actually did. So, all right. Before I, ask you guys what you think. So basically, what this means is that if you're a long returning player, like a year or so, and you haven't played Hearthstone in a while, and you've just come back right now, basically every class has a free deck that is in all definition really good, that is competitive in its own sense. It's not perfect in terms of the cards that is in the deck, but it's really good that you're already in a way that you're able to fight against other players. And this is what Hearthstone has done, so that us returning players don't feel like we're left out with all of those awesome people like Gaea and Waning Moon, who have been playing Hearthstone for a while and have really awesome decks. Now we at least have one that we can try to fight against them. So, obviously, all classes have it. I believe Gaea and Winnie Moon have already seen the particular decks here. Now, the question that I wanted to ask to you guys is 3 questions. So, what do you think is the deck that is the strongest to get right now? What is the deck with the most value, if you can interpret that any way that you want? And which deck would be a good underdog deck to get, like something that's not the strongest, but something that can maybe sweep the rug underneath feet of players who might be getting the strongest deck? So I'd like to ask Waning Moon first on this one. So again, Waning Moon, strongest deck that you think, the most value deck, and then the underdog deck that you think might play well here.
For the strongest deck, I'd say definitely the Mage. It's a
Oh,
Highlander Mage, right?
okay. I think it's a
Uh,
Reno Mage, the one that's with the
yeah,
free.
yeah.
I'm not a yeah,
We call
not
those
a
we
hundred
call those
percent.
100
Highlander.
means Reno,
We
yeah.
call those
Okay,
Highlander
okay.
because like it's a
One of
reference
each.
to the TV show Highlander, right? There can only be
Oh,
one.
okay,
Was the tagline of
okay.
that show. And in a Reno deck, in the deck that uses Zephyrus and Dragon Queen Alex, you can only have one
Mm-hmm.
copy of each card. So
Yeah,
I'd say this would be the strongest of the decks that are available for the new players, and I think would also be the most value for me
yeah.
because you have Zephyrus and Alex, and they're really expensive. They're really strong legendaries that are used in not just this mage, but a lot of other very strong competitive decks as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
and since they're neutral, you can, right? They're more flexible than maybe some of the other legendaries you can get from the other decks. And as for an underdog deck, I guess maybe the hunter or the druid. If you
Okay.
just want a deck that can maybe compete in the meta, and yeah, the druid is a token druid, the hunter is a quest hunter. Those are actual meta decks. So maybe you don't want to play mage. Those are also viable options.
Okay, awesome. Like, okay, just a follow up question. What do you think makes them viable, at least against the mage deck that you've been describing? Like, so at least we have like
Uh,
a what do you call this? A counter argument to people who might say that no, I don't want to get that. It's not as good as the Highlander mage. So what's like you're gonna be your answer to them?
I'd say mage is overall stronger, but if you're talking about like the head to head matchup, I think
Mm-hmm.
quest hunter is slightly favored against Highlander mage,
Mm-hmm.
and token druid is as well. I'm not.
It's okay. It's okay if you're not sure.
Yeah.
But as long as we kind
Yeah.
of get what you think about why this might work, it's fine. But yeah, I think you've given your thoughts about that, or do you want to add some more?
Yeah, I mean, Druid and Hunter are definitely decks that can beat Mage. And depending
Mm-hmm.
on who you ask, they may or may not be favored. But I'd say, in general, like across all ranks,
Yeah.
uh, they do beat Mage.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. So there, you have Waning Moon's answer to that. Now, let's ask Gia. Again, Gia, same question. Strongest, most value, and then underdog deck that you'd choose.
Wait. Can I throw the question back at you? Because you already chose your deck, right? Which one did you get?
Oh,
I'm curious.
okay, you're asking the host now. It's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm lucky enough to know you guys as well as one of the guests that will be joining, and I asked what would be the most value, or rather, the deck that I should go for. And they just told me to go for Rogue. It's either Rogue or the Mage. They said that if I wanted to expand to other decks, I might go for I should go for the Mage or rather other classes. But they also said that if I wanted the best win rate or highest win rate right now, it is the Galakron Rogue, which I have been using for a while. I'm not sure how to use it properly, so that's why I'm probably losing. But I can see why it's really, really strong. So yeah, I've been using the Galakron Rogue. I actually was able to also craft the necessary legendaries from it, as I think Snip Snap and the other ones. So I've been having a good time with the Rogue. It's pretty nice, especially when you get Galakron. But the thing that I'm kind of finding tricky right now to play it with as a new returning player, or as a returning player, is that I don't know how to get the most value out of Galakron, because I believe me and Gia were talking about this yesterday. How do I get the 5/2 clause, weapon clause for Galakron? So you need to invoke 4 times. So I've been having a good difficult time because I feel like I'm not playing it that well, or I'm not playing the deck well, and I've kind of been forcing myself to always try to invoke to get that for the 5/2 clause. But I think that's not the point of playing Galakron Rogue. So yeah, well, it's been pretty fun.
Yeah, well, you took a lot of out of my mouth because this is my pick for strongest deck. Strongest
Mm-hmm.
meaning on ladder definition, strictly on ladder. Because if you're
Okay.
talking about for tournaments, I would agree with Dustin that the mage is the strongest because across how many Masters tours for the past I don't know how many months, there's always a mage of some sort that's winning in tournament. And
Okay.
yeah, I also agree that the mage is the highest value because it has lots of strong neutral legendaries like Zephrys and
Mm-hmm.
Alexstrasza. So no matter what class it is, as long as Highlander as an archetype is viable, those two cards will always be necessary. So if you're just looking to build the strongest, like the widest collection of playable cards, I would recommend getting the mage. But if you just want to jam ladder and get legend as soon as possible, I would recommend this rogue. I don't know. I think it's just super strong. I mean, I hit legend in 2 days because of the new rank revamp system for one reason, and also because this rogue just goes 74-75% win rate. I
Okay.
do have a few different cards here, but it's really just like adding Boom Pistol Bully, which is a 5 mana 5/5 that you can get from the
Mm-hmm.
adventure of Galakron's Awakening. And then Snip Snap and Ziliax will be gone soon. I'm not sure if that will make the deck bad. I don't think it will be bad. It's still really strong. And of course, Edwin Van Cleef, to the surprise and shock of the competitive community, is not part of the cards rotated to Hall of Fame. So this is a way to get the longest playable legendary, I think, in Hearthstone.
Okay. How about your underdog deck? What do you think?
Underdog. Well, can I just pick the shaman because it's the highest dust cost? So in terms of
Fine. That's
it's
fine.
not good. But
I mean, if
I
you,
don't
if you want,
actually
it's
know if
fine.
it can
Just
beat
just give
anything.
just give us a reason why, so that people don't take the wrong impression out of it. So that just in case, like you said, you wanted the shaman because it has the
No, no,
highest.
no, no. That's not my real
Yeah,
answer.
okay, okay.
I think maybe the Resurrect Priest is a good underdog because it has a good matchup against Rogue, and also another very
Mhm.
popular deck on the ladder right now, which is Dragon Hunter. But again, take this with a grain of salt because the meta is going to change in a few days. I don't know if Rogue will still be dominant. I don't know if Dragon Hunter will still be good. So I would actually recommend waiting a while before you choose a deck after the meta settles. Then you can pick one.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
not sure
you
how
know.
long you can wait to claim the decks though. That's the unsure
Oh
part.
yeah. I'm not 100% sure as well, but if you guys want, you should try to claim it now, or at least what I'm thinking rest of the moment is just to make another account and try to claim another free deck because
Hold on,
I'm
can
feeling
you get
pretty
one on
bad
every
about.
server?
Yeah, yeah. At least you have a different server to go on. But anyways, thanks guys for that one. Now that concludes the returning or new and returning player deck portion of our discussion. And again, there's a lot of things that you guys can get out of this, but the most thing is mage for the best value and probably the strongest. And uh, if you're new to Hearthstone, don't go rogue like I did and fail a lot. Gia said it's 75% win rate, but my win rate has been like
Oh, it's
40%.
it's not actually that high. I mean, I just kind of
Okay,
got
Yeah,
good
that's
draws,
another
but it's
thing.
okay. My,
definitely high win rate, but not that high unless you take a very small sample size.
okay,
Yeah,
let's
it's
okay.
actually also one of the hardest decks to play.
Yeah. So if you're a new
If it,
player,
y-
don't do
yeah,
it.
so you might have to consider that. It has a very high win rate in Legend and High Legend.
Oh, I'm so sorry,
Sorry,
guys.
I enjoyed
I'm
that
feeling
word.
bad right now that we're.
Very subtle, very soft
I'm fe-
spoken because it's from Dustin. But
I can feel already the reprimanding authority of Waning Moon telling me it's very difficult. It's a very high skill cap to play. Sorry, stop. Okay, so next up on our discussion list after the free deck for new and returning players is what Gia previously mentioned during that discussion, which is ranked revamp. Now, let me try to explain it slightly, or maybe I can just ask these more experienced players. But before that, I'll describe it more now. So the new ranking system is that you have divisions and ranks. So there is bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, and legend. And each one of those ranks, except for legend, have bronze 1 to 10, silver 1 to 10, and so on and so forth. But so this means that there's a little bit more structure to the new rank system. And like Gia said, she did kind of got to legend really, really fast because of the new rank system. So Gia, what do you think about this new rank system? Is it like, let's say there's a lot of pros to it, but do you also see like cons? But first you can talk about the pros.
Well, I think that it's just and psychologically a bit more rewarding because before this, you would start at rank 50 if you're a new player, and you would have to climb all the way up to rank 1. And that, like, if you enter the game for the first time and you're like, it's that long to climb, it psychologically it kind of just it feels bad. So now everybody at the start of the season starts at bronze 10, and then every time you get 3 wins in a row, and there are bonuses depending on how you finished the previous season, and if you get win streaks, you climb up to the next rank. And there are more ranked floors here than in the previous system, I think, which means that there are more thresholds where you cannot fall down to a lower rank, which is nice, obviously. So I like that aspect of it. And I feel like for Legend players, it just takes overall less wins to get to Legend from Bronze 10. So I always appreciate that because the start of season grind is it can be quite tedious. And then your goal is just to get to Legend so you can, have a concrete ranking among all the other players and you can brag that you're top 10, top 20, whatever.
Yeah, guys, I'm bronze 1. I'm so strong. Out of like you're bronze 10. Yeah, I totally get that. How about you, Waning Moon? Gia has said her piece, but you can say something of the same if you feel that that's what this new rank system has given you. So, what do you think about this? Well, this new rank system.
Yeah, I just add that I guess it makes it easier for players to talk about what rank they are, right? Instead of just being a number. We have bronze, we have silver, we have gold. It's more descriptive.
Yeah.
It's easier to like talk about how your skill level and how it compares to everybody else. I think for legend players, it doesn't really change that much if they hit legend every month anyway. But the climb,
you hit legend
itself.
faster. It's like
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the math is on that. If you actually do hit legend faster or not. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right, thank you. So, anyways, like Jay was mentioning, alongside this new rank system, there is still the accompanied MMR, which is kind of like how good you are in game. So that means that if you're bronze 10 but you have good MMR, you're going to be paired up with someone who has the same MMR as you, so that you don't play with somebody who's might not be as good as a player as you, so that you feel more competitive when you try to play in ranked mode. So I think that's also a really nice thing that Hearthstone has, kind of made in conjunction with this new rank system. And aside from that, bonus, every rank that you get, if I'm not mistaken, gives you card pack or rewards rather. So it's either cards, packs, or both. So this means that the higher you get into the rank, so from like bronze 1, you get to like diamond 1, you get more and more cards. So this is like a really nice incentive. Wherein, as before, I also believe that the rewards only come after each season or at the end of each season. So now you can actually look forward to like finishing each rank and then, oh my goodness, I got myself like a really good card, or at least I have more cards to add to my deck. So it's a really nice addition, and you kind of just want to play more Hearthstone now.
Can I confirm with Dustin? Is this a reward for the first time you hit it each season, or the first time you hit it, period? Because I'm not actually sure.
It's both. So like the first time you hit the milestone, you get a reward immediately, and then for finishing at least that place for the season, you get an extra reward that you open at the end of the month. It actually makes it much more enjoyable to rank up, right? Because you're looking forward to hitting the next 5 ranks every time. There's always something coming your way.
Yeah.
It's a psychological boost and an economical boost. So that's good.
There's so much value right now playing rank, pun intended. Okay, so anything else to say about the new rank revamp, guys, or are you okay with the piece that you have, shared to our viewers already?
I'm good.
Okay, Waiting Moon is just smiling. I love it. I mean, I love like. I'm not being sarcastic. I love your smile, man. All right,
Okay,
guys.
let me leave right now and give you space, guys.
All right. So now, actually, speaking of space, we're gonna take a quick break. But anyways, it has been a treat to host for Gaea and Waning Moon. And again, when we come back after this break, guys, we're gonna be including our new guest, which I will introduce later on. So also, I believe we will be announcing the winners at the start after the break, so that if I miss anything, we will be announcing some of the winners for the card pack. So guys, don't go anywhere. Heart to Heart Talk will be back after this break. Again, it's me, Asarai, with Gaea and Waning Moon. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Greetings, I'm Ben Lee, Game Director for Hearthstone. I'm an avid player and have been since launch, and have played thousands of games over the last 6 years. It is an honor and a pleasure to be a part of the team, and to be here today to talk to you about the game. Every day, millions of you have been playing Hearthstone, so on behalf of the team and Blizzard Entertainment, we want to thank you. We are incredibly grateful to you for your continued support and loyalty. Today, we're going to be talking about what's next for Hearthstone and our exciting plans for the future. But before we do, let's take a quick look back. The Year of the Dragon saw more content than ever before. We've had 3 great expansions, a huge amount of awesome PvE content.
This is the big one, folks. We're taking the fight to evil.
Multiple large-scale live events, and last but not least, the introduction of a brand new way to play in Battlegrounds. With the climactic ending of the year-long battle between the League of Explorers and the League of Evil just behind us, it is time for something new to rise. The Year of the Phoenix. First, let's talk about packs. We want the opening of card packs to be as exciting and rewarding as possible. And when you have more cards, you'll have more options to have fun. So coming with the first expansion of the year, duplicate protection will now apply across all rarities. What this means is that you will no longer receive more than 2 copies of any common, rare, or epic card from a pack until you have owned 2 copies of every card of that rarity from that set. We're really happy with this change, and we hope you will be too. We've also heard a lot of feedback that if you haven't played Hearthstone in a while, getting back into the game can be difficult. So we're making significant improvements to our returning player experience, including the ability to earn a competitive deck for the class of your choice.
I like your style.
With Battlegrounds, we introduced a brand new way to play Hearthstone. This is something we are committed to doing more of in the years to come. We believe that Hearthstone can be a home for different ways to play card games, and are exploring multiple endeavors on this front. Some of these will be epic in scale, like Battlegrounds, and take significant development time, while others will be more humble efforts, such as formats like Brawl Blocks or Wild. If there's a particular format or idea that interests you, let us know. We'd love to hear about it. There's a huge amount of content coming in the Year of the Phoenix. During each standard expansion phase, there'll be at least one major event like the Fire Festival, free PvE content, and significant updates to Battlegrounds. Let's take a look at some of the key content and systems that you can expect to see in the Year of the Phoenix. During Phase 1, we're updating our ranked systems for Standard and Wild. We hope the changes will make ranked play feel more fun and rewarding. In Phase 2, we plan to introduce a new fun way to play that uses your collection and will be similar in scope and scale to Arena. And finally, for Phase 3, towards the end of the Year of the Phoenix, we plan to launch a rework of our progression systems, including the addition of achievements. Throughout the year, we'll be providing you with more details and unveiling more of what we're working on. Check out the full roadmap on our website. Right now, we have one last secret to reveal, and I hope you're prepared for what's next.
There's a darkness in the garden of the heroes that you know, casting shadows even blacker than the night. There's a prisoner walking free who still envisions what could be, though long ago he sacrificed his sight. There's a villain who's been hated, and a savior who's been shunned, who's tasted of a love that cannot be. They're all one and the same, and the worlds all fear my name. The hero that you never thought you'd see.
Something is amiss.
I'm blind. You are not prepared!
Must attack the minion with taunt.
Taste the blades of Azeroth!
Again! Perfect.
Again! I feel only hatred.
Excellent.
Finally!
For your vengeance, Lord Illidan.
Vengeance!
Vengeance!
I will have my vengeance.
Vengeance!
Vengeance shall be ours.
Vengeance!
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 Demon hunters.
The shadows are rising again, darker than they've ever been. As evil descends from the skies, the world cries out,
Vengeance!
And we're back once again, guys, for Heart to Heart Talk. Hopefully you were able to do everything that you need during that break, and welcome back to the show. Again, I'm the host. My name is Asarai. Joining me with now is Gaea and Winnie Moon, who you saw previously, and of course, our new guest, which is a fellow host and gaming personality who also live streams on her at G with Ice, and that's her name, Ice. So hi, Ice. Welcome to Heart Talk.
Hey, thanks for that introduction, Ezra. I'm so happy to be here. I really enjoyed the first segment with you guys. That was really informative. So thank you for having me.
Oh, You're welcome. Hopefully, we are also like informing the other players out there who are new. I believe I'm seeing new people to the Hearthstone game actually pop out on chat right now. So it's a delight to see you guys, and also the others who have been telling me I shouldn't have gone for the Galakron Rogue, and as well as crafting Snip Snap because
No, don't listen to them.
Don't listen to them. All right. Okay.
Rogue
Anyways.
is good.
Yeah. All right. That might be like a meme or something that might pop out some other time. Okay. Before we do start this second segment for Heart to Heart Talk, I'm going to be, again, pushing the audience here. Guys, please ask us some legitimate questions about the Year of the Phoenix as well as the new expansion, because whoever our chat admins pick from out of those questions will be given a free classic card pack. So guys, type away. You know we're all about that keyboard warrior powers, positive keyboard warrior powers. So ask away on the chat right now some questions that you'd like to ask me, Gaea, Wayne Moon, and even Ice, at least at this portion of the segment. So without further ado, let's show the Demon Hunter Illidan.
Betrayer. In truth, it was I who was betrayed. Now my blind eye see what others cannot. That sometimes the hand of fate. Must be forced. Vengeance is mine! You will get far.
Enjoy your final moments. Vengeance!
Serve your master!
Evil cannot hide from me! No mercy!
We're with you!
Bring it!
Those without eyes truly see.
You are not prepared.
Our enemies will fall.
Vengeance is mine!
There you go. We're back. And like I said, ask some questions away. We already have like a bushel of questions. So seeing like what would it be? Would the rank rewards be only once the season ends, or is it really the first time, never to happen again? I believe it's gonna refresh every season, so you can keep getting it. I believe because everybody resets to bronze 10, even if you're legend, right? Going into the next season.
Yeah, everyone starts at bronze
Yeah.
10.
Okay, there you go. So you can reap the benefits over and over again. So it's kind of better if, like, the most bang for the buck is to get to legend and then reset to bronze and then legend again, which might not happen for all of us, but if you're able to do that, you lucky you.
But if you get the rogue deck,
Oh, wow, Gaea, stop. You're making me blush here. Okay, so with Ice joining us right now, we're going to be talking about the unending meme of You Are Not Prepared games that will be popping out as this new expansion comes out, because this is the time of Illidan, the Demon Hunter. And obviously, a lot of people will already know, but for those who don't know, Illidan, the Demon Hunter class, is the first new class in Hearthstone ever since the launch of the game. So there have been a lot of skins for classes, but never a new class. And there has been like a lot of questions, maybe in Reddit or anywhere else, asking when are we going to get the new class? And Hearthstone just slams it right in front of us. Here you go, Illidan, the Demon Hunter. So I just kind of wanted to ask, what do you guys think? I mean, like, yeah, I just wanted to ask, what do you guys think about Demon Hunter? Like, in a general basis, as a character, as a design choice, and maybe the some of the few cards that you've already seen. Like, let's ask Gaea first. What do you think, Gaea?
I have a lot of opinions. Just as a new class, very hyped because that will shake up the game in a different way than ever before.
Yeah.
The hero power being the only one at 1 mana throws me off a little bit because it's kind of inconsistent with the rest of the heroes, but I think it's fine because they had to come up with something first and foremost balanced, right? Because if you introduce a new class and it's OP, then it's going to be considered a fail, or if it's too weak, it's considered a flop. So I think that they put a lot of work into balancing the character before making any announcement about it. So that's the most important thing. Aesthetics wise, I love that all the cards that are Demon Hunter look like they are Demon Hunter because they're all green and purple. So that's very simple and intuitive. And so far, I'm enjoying the lore of the prologue. It's the first time that I've really kind of been invested in Hearthstone's PvE content from a story perspective. As somebody that never played WoW, I was enjoying it a lot.
Yeah, same. I kind of really like the story because it gives us a little bit of insight to how Illidan was before. If you guys want to, know more about the lore, play the prologue. And if you wanted more in depth, you can also search it in tons of wikis that talk about Warcraft. So, okay, so I think it might be a little bit redundant to keep to also ask this to Waning Moon and Ice. So we'll move forward into the discussion. First and foremost, let's give a little bit of specs to what the Demon Hunter has to offer for those who want to pursue this particular class. So first of all, again, this is the first new class since launch. I'm just going to read through everything here. It has also a new class-specific word, Outcast, which we'll be discussing later on. Also, the free Demon Hunter Prologue is included. So you guys, again, Prologue right now, guys. If you want to play while watching us, that's awesome. You can also discuss what how you experienced maybe the Prologue. We also, of course, have included 10 basic cards and 20 initiate cards, which we'll be discussing later on as well. And then with the Year of the Dragon, we already have the 15 cards in each expansion, including Ashes of Outlands. We also have a pre-built Demon Hunter deck that I believe you can unlock when you finish the Prologue. I have to double check about that. And everything is officially launched on April 8th. So if you guys are jonesing already, we are only at April 4. I'm so sorry. Still 4 more days, but you can hang in there, guys. We hanged in there for a couple of years for this new class. Just 4 days is definitely, hangable or waitable. Is that
bearable?
How I should say bearable. Thank you. Okay, so Gaea has already mentioned this, so I want to direct this question. I was about to say direct this attack to Waning Moon. Illidan's hero power. It's the first hero power that has 1 cost out of the standard heroes out there, and what it does, it gives you 1 attack this turn. So, like as a hero only, what do you think? Like this at least gives you maybe from a player perspective, from a pro player's perspective, Waning Moon. What do you think about this 1 hero attack?
Yeah, so the 1 mana hero power is something we've never had before, right?
Yeah.
I guess they designed it specifically to mesh with the way I guess they're intending Demon Hunter to be played, where he's active every turn. Like there are a lot of decks where you might not always get to play something on turn 1, and the Demon Hunter at least will never have that problem. He'll always be able to spend his mana every turn of the game, no matter what he draws in his mulligan. And aside from that, it means his synergy with his cards that rely on him attacking is going to be very flexible in that regard. Like he's always gonna have that attack available for any turn that you might need it. So that's really interesting.
Awesome answer, man. Okay, so this one is to Ice. Hi, Ice. How have you been doing?
I'm good. I enjoyed listening to the guys earlier. So, number 1 rule: don't go rogue.
Hey.
Whoa. Gia's taking a little bit of offense on that. Okay, so Ice, were you able to play the prologue already?
Yes,
the
I
Demon
did
Hunter?
it yesterday. I tried it out. And as a returning player, somebody who hasn't played Hearthstone in years, I found that it is very newbie friendly. So I think that's really good. That evens out the playing field. I mean, of course, I won't be able to utilize like all the existing cards that the pro players are using really well, but it gives you a bit of leg room to make mistakes, and it's not fatal to your gameplay. So I think that's what I loved about it the most.
Oh, actually, what deck did you choose from the from the returning deck? Oh, oh no, you're gonna say the same thing as me?
No. I went for mage. I haven't looked at all the deck, but I went for mage because that was the deck that I used before. So it was something that was comfortable for me and it was a little bit familiar.
Well, you hit the jackpot there, my friend. You were able to get the deck that we were all that Gaea and Waning Moon were discussing and saying that it's the worth deck. Seems like you got the luck of the draw, but yeah, I'm glad that you're enjoying it. I'm also again enjoying coming back into this, even though I am using Rogue. But no, Rogue is actually really fun if you're able to pull it off. You're kind of very much just outright doing stuff that will make your opponent say what, like something like that. Okay, so I'm gonna pluck some questions from the chat already. But before we get the questions that need answering, these are the questions, or rather, this is the winner that will be able to get the card pack. So, hang on, let me just pop out his name. So, Jed Guico, Gedguico, he will be winning one of the classic card packs that we are giving away. We are giving away 10 right now, guys. So we still have 9 more. And next up, we do have a question here. So I think this is a perfect question that will be answered during this segment. So from Daryl Espanola, I hope I pronounced that correctly and did not butcher the name. Daryl Espanola Malabayabas. So his question is, any tips for playing as a demon hunter? What are the things I should consider while playing it? So I think we'll answer this as we go through the cards right now, because I think like that will answer his question the most, and this won't like force like for other people who might have similar questions, we might be able to answer that for them as well. So getting on to the topic, let's show the cards of the Demon Hunter. So we're going to be beginning with the 10 basic cards of the Demon Hunter. So I believe these are the 10 cards that can't be disenchanted so that you can get more dust or something. So these are the cards that you get with the Demon Hunter deck. So let's pop them out on the screen here. So we'll talk about the first card, which is Shadow, or rather, do we go for like one card at a time, or do we go for like cards that interest us the most? What do you guys think? Because I'm thinking interest us the most.
Yeah, let's do that.
What do you think, Gaea, Waning Moon, Ice?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Okay. So pop it out on your screens here, guys. I'll ask this first to Waning Moon. Waning Moon, out of the 10 basic cards, I'm gonna ask, let's say, let's say 3. What 3 cards would you think would be used as a demon hunter, and what card would you think has the most oomph as a demon when you're gonna be playing demon hunter? Yeah, it's okay. You can take your time. I'm also looking at the cards right now.
Yeah, I need the list. I don't have the list.
All good.
Right on my screen.
All good. So I'm seeing a couple of the cards here. Things that might be interesting would be around 5 cost. We are already seeing one of the cards already, which is the Shadow Hoof Slayer. It does have a battle cry that gives your hero +1 attack this turn. So out of the top of my head, like my simple head here is you can get this at turn 2. Then you basically have 2 attack on Illidan, and if you can at least take this to turn 3, you have another 2/1 attack. So maybe it's good. Anyways, Waning Moon, were you able to see the card list already?
Yeah, I see it now.
All right, awesome.
So there's Eldrachi Warblades.
Mm-hmm.
Chaos Nova. Sightless Watcher seems interesting also.
Okay, so I'll just describe it for the viewers. So as Waning Moon was enumerating there, he was interested with the Sightless Watcher. It is a 2-cost 3/2 card that battle cry is look at 3 cards in your deck and choose one to put on top. Next up is the Eldrachi Warblades, which is a 3-mana cost 2/3 weapon that has lifesteal, so that it means 2 attack, 3 durability. And then the last one is Chaos Nova, which is a 5-cost spell that is deal 4 damage to all minions. So follow-up question to you, Waning Moon. Why did you pick these 3 cards? And you can go as simple as you want. You just want to kind of know the answer to why you picked these 3 cards.
Okay, so Eldrachi Warblades, from what little experience I got playing the Prologue, this seemed like a really important card, because Demon Hunter doesn't seem to have that many ways to, and it synergizes with the attack effects of Demon Hunter, right? So you can use the hero power on a turn where you have Warblades on, and you get 1 extra health along with the damage. You can use it on a turn where you combo with Twin Slice or something else that buffs your damage. It seems like this is going to be one of Demon Hunter's main sources of healing. And also, just its base stats seem good enough. Like, it's a 3-mana 2/3 weapon. That's as good as most weapons, even though they don't have lifesteal. So it seems like it could be a staple card in Demon Hunters. Then I guess Chaos Nova seems to stand out also, because Demon Hunter is a really strong removal, right? For 5 mana to do 4 damage to the whole board.
Yeah.
It seems like it's going to be a staple of any Demon Hunter deck that needs a way to clear the board. Anything that's not full-on aggro, any deck that's not a full-on aggro deck is going to need a way to stabilize when you get behind, right? And Chaos Nova gives Demon Hunter that way. It's actually, if you're not counting your own board, it's as good as a Flame Strike, and it's 5 mana.
Okay. So, that's actually the question I wanted to ask as a follow-up to that, before we go on to Gaea and to Ice. So, do you think that Chaos Nova is harmful to your board, or not as much if you're looking at the cards available right now for Demon Hunter? At least if you were able to see most of the cards. I'm just as an initial look into Chaos Nova for your own board.
Well, for Chaos Nova, you'd play it only if you were behind on the board, right? It's not a card that if you want to get full value out of it, because even when you're playing a tempo deck, there will be turns where your opponent will out-tempo you, or he'll have control of the board. And then to have Chaos Nova just as a tool in reserve for those situations is very strong. So that'll be its use. You usually wouldn't want to use it when you have control of the board, because then your priority would be just pushing damage or adding more minions to the board.
Okay, awesome answer. Yeah, definitely made a lot more sense than what I was thinking in my head. Next up, Gaea. We're looking at the 10 basic cards. So, what out of these cards, at least 3, do you think is standing out to you?
Yeah, I actually agree with 2 of the cards that Dustin mentioned, that the Sightless Watcher really stands out to me. Also Chaos Nova. And the only different one that I would mention is the Glavebound Adept, because I think that's a very strong power level card. It's the 5 mana, 7/4 here.
Yeah.
7/4, if your hero attack this turn, deal 4 damage. So it's just very highly statted in terms of attack for the mana cost, right? Essentially, you might not play it earlier than turn 6 because you would have to hero power to activate the effect. But even then, I think it's quite strong. If you compare it to Fire Elemental from Shaman, which is a 6 mana 6/5 battle cry, deal 3 damage, you play it on the same turn, but this one has, more attack stats and, more importantly, deals more damage. And sometimes you can activate it on turn 5 if you play Twin Slice, which is 0 mana, give your hero attack. So I think it's quite strong.
Yeah.
And then the Sightless Watcher that Dustin mentioned, I think it's probably one of the most powerful 2-drops in the game because it allows you to more consistently make sure you have a play on turn 3. And in Hearthstone, curving out is the most important thing if you're a tempo deck. Just making sure you spend all your mana in every early turn is the most important.
Yeah.
And then finally, Chaos Nova stands out to me because I think it's actually very different from the rest of the cards in this set, in the basic set. Aside from Soul Cleave, those two strike me as control cards. I don't actually think you hold it as a tool in tempo decks, but rather you play it in a different deck archetype altogether, which is a bit more control based. Although I don't know if that will be viable for Demon Hunter yet. But I think it's interesting because if that is a viable archetype, then the Chaos Nova is like the key removal card.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually. So, just to follow up, Gia. So you're talking about the archetype right now for Demon Hunter. What do you mean specifically by that? Like Demon Hunter right now doesn't have, because I've been hearing like a lot of words such as Demon Hunter doesn't really have any big cards to drop on the board. It's more about trying to control the board with the Demon Hunter's hero power, then amping up that power. Then you maybe use Inner Demon or Metamorphosis to finish off your opponent, something like that. Can you explain a little bit further?
So, just for maybe newer players, the term archetype refers to the style of a deck. So, you might say aggro, you might say control, you might say mid range. So, aggro is generally lower cost cards trying to end the game sooner. Control is generally like removing all of your opponent's threats instead of playing your own threats. And it's only after the removal that you start to come back in the game. And then mid range is kind of in between those, where you play decent sized cards, maybe you play a little bit of removal, and so on. Personally, I feel like with the so far announced cards of Demon Hunter, not just the basic, it's pushed a little bit more in the mid-range aggro direction. Maybe there's a viable control deck, I just don't see it yet. And so I feel like it's these slightly more aggressive cards that will be more useful in Demon Hunter.
All right, awesome. Okay, so this one is a follow-up to Ice. So, Ice, have you been able to see the basic cards for Demon Hunter yet?
Yes, I was able to use some of them in the prologue, I think.
All right, so same question. What kind of stands out to you the most? And this is okay. This is okay. No judgment will be had because I also have other cards that I'm looking at right now, which I will answer after yours. So what card do you think kind of stands out to you the most? Maybe it looks the coolest. Maybe you seem like it would be a strong card to use. Anything, but as for you, which one stands out the most?
At the risk of getting judgment stares from Wayne and Gino, I love hearing their insight because for me as a returning player, I see this a little bit more straightforward. So for me, one of the things that I also liked was the Eldrachi Warblades, playing on the hero power, because if you use it on a minion, you get damage on your hero as well. So the lifesteal kind of gives you a different playstyle for that. And then another one that kind of got my attention was Chaos Strike. It's also playing on the hero power because it's giving your hero 2 attack this turn and then you draw a card. One of the things that I'm really interested in seeing is how Gaea and Waning Moon will incorporate these and what kind of meta it's going to give birth to. So I guess as a question that I have for them is, as a newbie, Gaea mentioned this mid aggro. So how fast should I pace the gameplay? Because that means I'm not rushing and I'm not slowing down as well. So how would that benefit me or what are the main things I should look out for as a newbie when I'm using these kind of cards?
I can give an answer first.
Yeah, go ahead. Floor is all yours.
So, if you're playing an aggro deck or even mid-range to some extent, your number one priority is board control. And so having weapons is a very powerful thing that's accessible for Demon Hunter, because if you think of it as in most decks, you trade a minion to get rid of your opponent's minion and you end up net 0. If you use a weapon, you can preserve your minions while removing your opponent's minions. And that is a very powerful thing because that means your board can continue to deal damage, your minions stay alive. So I think that using your hero power and your weapons to remove your opponent's stuff, while just staying careful not to go too low in health, should be a very powerful game plan for Demon Hunter.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
Oh
yeah, Winning Moon,
so
if you have a follow-up.
Yeah, on the question of archetypes, Gia mentioned aggro, mid-range, control. I think one way you can look at it if you're not really familiar with the game yet is one way that I look at it, that I've always looked at it, is that it's sort of like a rock, paper, scissors relationship that these archetypes have. Like you have the aggro decks that have all the early minions, all the early threats. They pressure really fast, but they don't necessarily have the tools to last into the late game. So a deck like that beats a deck that plays a bit greedier and tries to get to the late game a bit quicker, right? So the aggro decks beat the mid-range or the combo decks. And then you have the mid-range and the combo decks that aren't as fast as the aggro decks, but they have threats that last all throughout the game. And they have a really strong win condition or a lot of draw. So these decks, they lose to the aggro decks, but they beat the control decks, right? And then finally, completing the rock, paper, scissors triangle, you have the control decks. They beat the aggro decks because they play it safe. They have the tools to deal with the early minions, with the aggro. They have heal usually. They have taunt. They have removal. These decks beat the aggro decks, but because they play it so safe, because they don't cut as many corners as a mid-range or a combo deck, they'll lose to the combo deck. So it's more complicated than that. When you get to the actual meta, like every class is different. All the relationships between the different archetypes isn't always this clear cut, but in general, this is a good framework to keep in mind. That it's aggro beats mid-range and combo beats control, and control beats aggro.
Yeah.
Very succinct.
Yeah.
That is well put.
Yes.
I mean, words from the master. I was like deep in thought about what he's saying. What am I like? I gotta follow the words of Waning Moon. You know, we gotta have like a book or something to pop out to publish.
I was writing it down.
Oh wow, she took notes.
I just more prepared than me.
I've been called by that by Illidan a couple of times, so I'm not doing that this time.
Actually, yeah. I feel like Illidan would be the best professor if you're not doing well in your studies. Like, you are not prepared. And that. Super corny, but I get it. Okay. So we'll go next up to the 20 initiate cards for the Demon Hunter class. I'm kind of checking if we have. All right, perfect. So the 20 initiates actually have one of them with the new mechanic of the Demon Hunter, which is Outcast. So Outcast is a mechanic wherein if you are the leftmost or rightmost card in your hand, you can activate its effect. It will glow yellow or gold in your hand if it's in the most left and most right, essentially making it into a better card than if it was just in the middle. So there's a lot of cards like that with the Demon Hunter class. But before all of that, I actually also wanted to, because the chat admin has already given me questions to ask to us all, and I think this is just perfect to ask right now that we're talking about the Demon Hunter class. Also, these questions that were picked out by the chat admin are the ones who have won with the card pack. I will be announcing all of them before we do go for the next break. So if you don't ask all the questions, at least I will enumerate all the winners. So I do apologize if I don't ask all of your questions, but we are on a sort of topic flow right now, guys. Anyways, from Jama Vito C. Simbul, he's asking, given the Demon Hunter cards to be released, what class or deck can counter the Demon Hunter's aggression? So, Gia and Wayne have been talking about rock, paper, scissors. Gia was also talking about how Demon Hunter has a way that you might play him a bit more aggressive in the early stages of the game. So, all right, let's kind of mix it up. Let's see what someone who's returning to Hearthstone might think about this. So, Ice, I know this is catching you off guard, but please bear with me. Looking at the Hunter cards, from what we've seen from the basic, or how many of you seen, what do you think would be your strategy to counter the Demon Hunter's aggression? Then after that, I'll also ask Waning Moon and Gaea to see what they think. So, we have a little bit of contrast here.
I think some of the big game changers are the Outcast cards, because if they come in, you either have to play them early or you have to play them late. You're going to have to wait until the card goes until the end of the pile for you to get the maximum value of the card. So I think if it falls under mid-range, I would go for something that will give me more control on the board. I'm not that patient, so I think it's going to give me a little bit of learning curve there. But I think that's the best approach to it.
Okay.
To wait it out until late game, but that's just me.
Okay. Follow-up question. Since you're a mage player, is that okay to say? Okay, you're the mage queen. It works. Since your name is Ice, ex-mage queen. Do you have any cards in the mage deck that you can remember that you might want to use against these more aggressive demon hunters? Like, if you can just remember one. If not, it's fine. We'll go to Waning or Gaea. I just wanted to know.
I don't know, because the last time my deck, half of them are already on wild and no longer on standard, so I have to get back to you on that.
That's fine. Perfectly
That's
fine.
how long I've been out.
It's okay. I'm also kind of just curious as to what you would want to use against these type of things. So, all right, Waning Moon, same question. What do you think would be a good answer to the aggression that is definitely already out here for the Demon Hunter class? We've seen a lot of really cheap cost cards that can deal really good damage at the start. So what could a player's answer be for that?
Right. So if the trend for Demon Hunter is going to be aggressive decks, then the natural answer would be to play a control deck, right? You want ways to deal with early boards, you want removal, you want taunt. And I think one of the things that stands out about Demon Hunter is they don't seem to have a way to deal with big minions. They're sort of like how Druid is right now, where they don't have any. Let's say Shaman has Hex, Rogues have Sap and Assassinate. Most classes have ways to deal with big single target threats, but Demon Hunter seems to rely on damage to do that, and that's not an efficient way to deal with big minions. So I'd say Priest would probably be a counter to Demon Hunter. If you play like a control style of Priest, like probably Resurrect Priest with taunts and removals and just big threats that Demon Hunter will have a hard time dealing with.
Yeah. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Okay, so Gaea, same question. What do you think is going to be a good answer to Demon Hunter? If it's going to be more of an aggressive deck, or maybe you have a different insight if it's a different type of Demon Hunter?
I also think the most likely archetype for a Demon Hunter is somewhere along the aggressive lines. So I agree with Waning that control decks would take the cake in that matchup. But I'll provide an answer from what I think will be decks in the new expansion. So from Paladin, there's this new concept called Librams, which if you get the discounts early, you can play very powerful healing spells, very powerful summon minions early on. And that's exactly what Demon Hunter does not like to see. Big taunts, healing. And then I think that Warrior probably will still be a control deck. They're losing a lot of good cards from the Boomsday expansion, so I'm not sure if it will stand up to other classes that well, but like the new Warrior Prime card supposedly is going to gain a lot of armor. So I think those are possible candidates from the new expansion that can beat Demon Hunter.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we haven't talked about Prime. If I'm not mistaken, Prime is the mechanic where if you actually have a card that's, let's say, discounted, or rather not discounted, it's a low-cost card, like 3 mana cost, and then when it dies, its death rattle is to put a more expensive but stronger card back into the deck. Is that what Prime is? For the for the new viewers or the ones who haven't heard it. Okay. Okay, thank you. So, okay, this is a follow-up question for us on this topic. Someone actually just said, or not really a question, but I just liked his chat. So he said, "Fight aggro with more aggro." Is that something that you can do up against a demon hunter if you're like a different class? Like if you're a demon, let's say aggro demon hunter X against face hunter, something like that. What do you think? Let's ask Gia first.
Um, in theory, I think the other decks would struggle because Demon Hunter, like I mentioned, they have weapons, they have ways to remove minions without using their own minions necessarily. So traditionally in aggro, the beginning of the matchup, the weapon class will take a bit more damage, but then their board will preserve. So they should win in that sense. So I'm not really sure, but I would give the edge to Demon Hunter because they have weapons.
Yeah, perfectly good answer. How about you, Waning Moon? Real quick before we go into the next topic that we have.
Yeah, I agree. I think weapons will probably make the difference because if it's an aggro mirror, it's just about tempo. It's just about who gets control of the board first, right? And weapons are a huge tempo swing because they're usually, for the amount of mana that you spend playing them, they remove a lot more on the board than the enemy aggro deck can put down. That means that you should end up ahead on board, and that's what aggro mirrors are usually decided by.
Okay. Yeah, again, so if whoever's like wondering, maybe it's good to go for aggro versus aggro against Demon Hunter, and I'm not using a Demon Hunter, it might not bode well for you. So be careful on that regard. So we might not have enough time to go over the 20 initiate cards. So if you guys are interested in that, you can check it, of course, at the Hearthstone website. So let's talk about the other thing that is obviously another new mechanic for the Demon Hunter, which is the Outcast Mechanic. So again, Outcast is where you have your leftmost and rightmost card having more effect than if it were in the middle of your card hand. So do you think that Demon Hunter has enough juice or enough ability to cycle through his or her hand to be able to activate Outcast multiple times? And I want to ask this to I want to ask this first to Ice, if because Ice told me that she was able to see the some of the cards here. Do you think, Ice, that with the Demon Hunter cards, will we be able to use Outcast more often than not?
For me, in the short time that I got to play the Outcast cards, I had to immediately cast them because I didn't have enough. I didn't know if I was gonna last all the way through the end for me to utilize that same effect. So I guess for me, that makes the game faster. I think there's still a lot more to tell when the expansion comes out, but I'd love to know what Waning Wininjia thinks about that too.
Yeah, so that's actually a perfect answer from her, because I was also thinking that Outcast might also force you to want to use it already, because if it comes out at the rightmost, you have to wait till it comes to the leftmost to use it again if you're not able to cycle your cards properly. So, Waning, what do you think about the Outcast mechanic for Demon Hunter?
Yeah, it's a really interesting mechanic because it sort of changes the way you'd normally play a game, right? So you're not always going to play the most optimal plays every turn that you might have played before you had to consider Outcast, right?
Yeah.
If you top deck it, you don't necessarily have to wait for it to get to the leftmost of your hand, because you can top deck another card, play that, and then still use use the Outcast card, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's just a really interesting addition to the game, because it forces you to change the way you have to think, and so at the higher levels, players are gonna have to, sort of get good at deciding whether they value the effect of the Outcast, or if they have another play that just makes more sense.
That's true. So I feel like, so would you say that, kind of a TLDR to what you said is you have to weigh your options properly to be able to use Demon Hunter as an effective hero class or card set? Okay. All right. So Gia, next question is up to you, or same question for you. What do you think right now of the Outcast mechanic? Do you think that you'll be able, or yeah, this is another question for me. Do you think that you'll be able to play it well? Do you think that you'll have? Do you think that you'll like wanting to use Outcast, or what do you think of Outcast in general? Yeah, let's go back to that.
I think I'll always just top deck it when I need it, right? So it's always active when you top deck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, real answer though, the reason that one of the main reasons that I think that the archetype for Demon Hunter is slanted more towards aggro is because if your deck is aggressive, meaning lots of low cost cards, you will more often be able to activate your outcast cards. For example, if you drew an outcast, can't play it this turn, the next card you draw is only 1 mana. Maybe you can spend that and then play your outcast immediately. Versus if you're playing cards that cost 7, 8, 9 mana, if you draw that and your outcast gets locked in the middle of your hand, a lot of the time you won't get the added benefit. So I feel like outcast synergizes better with aggressive decks. But there are some outcast cards that are just so good you might put them in even more expensive decks. Like I-Beam, that card I think is very insane. And then the card draw one that draws you 2 cards. Card draw is very important in a lot of decks, so sometimes you just add that in to have any form of cycle.
Perfect answers from you guys. I think this is like giving a lot of information for our viewers, maybe something that they haven't really thought about with the Outcast mechanic. So, all right, we have a question that I want to pop out to us, guys. So I'm going to say his name because I think that he will be able to win one of the card packs. So Merix Bartolo is asking something. So it's not Outcast anymore. So he's asking, in which situations can we take advantage of the dormant mechanic? So before we get into that, dormant mechanic is where you get a card. I think it's most likely a demon card that you can play on the board, and it's gonna be dormant for 2 turns. Now I'm not sure. I think the pros will confirm this for me. I'm not sure if the card is attackable during the time that it's dormant, but after the 2 turns that it's dormant, it will activate a certain effect. And I feel like, and one of those cards that have it, we'll be discussing later on, I think is oh my gosh, I can't remember the name. Antayan something, where it's a 10-6 cost card. Was it?
Prison Antayan.
Imprison Antayan. There you go. Thank you. Where it's dormant for 2 turns. It's a 10-6 5 cost that deals 10 damage randomly split among all enemies. Anyways, going back to the dormant mechanic, I want to ask this to Gia. What do you think about this one? I have no questions right now. I'm just like, what do you think about dormant? I actually have no words to describe how this kind of affects the game, but I'm hoping that you do. So the floor is all yours, Gia.
Yeah, I'm actually very interested that this made it into the game because dormant was an effect that they used in the solo adventures in the PvE content, but it was previously not playable player versus player decks. And I thought that was mainly because dormant is like too slow of an effect. Imagine you're spending mana in a turn to do nothing for about 2 turns. The minion can't attack, I believe, on the turn it awakens. It does trigger an effect, but it can't attack yet. So I feel like it is a very, very slow effect. So I feel that only very apt timing will affect the whether or not dormant cards are playable. Like if you expect that, let's say your opponent's deck is going to play a lot of minions on turn 4, you can play your dormant effect that does an AoE on turn 2, something like that. And then you mess up their timing. But I don't know if dormant is good on its own rather than as a hamper to what your opponent is trying to do.
Okay. All right, Waiting Moon, your turn. I'm still a little bit, kind of trying to figure out about this dormant mechanic, but maybe have like extra words to add for our viewers out there, as well as to this discussion group. Like, what do you think about the dormant mechanic? I gave like a example with the Imprison Antayan, but are there dormant cards that kind of speak out to you and think that even though you have to wait 2 turns for the effect or have to wait 2 turns for them to be usable, do you think that they'll be viable in ranked or even competitive play?
Yeah, I think Imprison Antayan probably stands out the most to me. among all the dormant cards because as Gia said, it is kind of slow, right? You're spending 5 mana on turn 5. Usually you want to be doing something active. You want to be answering your opponent's board. You want to be putting down a threat. But it does nothing for 2 turns. And then the effect, but then after 2 turns, the effect that comes out of it is amazing, right? In the case of the Imprison Antean, it's a 10-6. So I guess how I would evaluate the card is it's 5 mana for a 10-6, which is already so much better than a lot of 5 mana cards. And it does 10 damage randomly split among all enemies. It's basically a board clear, and it can even go face. So, card for card, the value is very high. And then the value you get for the amount of mana you're spending is also very high. The only issue is, can you afford to waste a turn putting it down, right? So, this is definitely going to be a card that needs to be fit into... Yeah, it'll be more of a control or a mid-range card than an aggro card. If you want to make an aggro deck, you can't afford to waste turn 5. You need to be pressuring every turn. You need to be putting down a threat all the time. But a mid-range deck actually can afford to take the tempo later. It is tempo. It does take back the board, but it's just delayed, right? It's delayed tempo.
Yeah.
So you put it down on 5. You find a way to survive, you find a way to stabilize, and then when it wakes up, you're all of a sudden you're ahead. All of a sudden, the board is yours, you have a huge threat. So I think it could be a really strong card if you put it in the right kind of deck.
Makes sense. Maybe in the future we'll have more big cards or maybe more control cards for the Demon Hunter that will supplement the dormant mechanic even more or make it more prominent or make it more... what do you call this? Favorable to try to make a deck out of. Anyways, I think that is enough. We have that much time already for the second segment. We're about to move into the break, but before we get into the break, guys, I will be already announcing some of the winners that we have already for the card packs. For the classic card packs, rather. So first of all, again, Jed Guico, you will be winning one of the card packs. So congratulations to you, man. Miles Pison Mempin, we're gonna be answering some of your questions later if we have enough time for it, because there's so much stuff to talk about right now. There's so many questions, and I cannot believe that it is overflowing. Like I thought we will have like 1 or 2 questions, but this is a bunch. Next up, Benjo Ramos. Rapid fire type? Okay. I'll just say this real quick. Then one of the questions that pop out to me, I will be asking it right now before we go into the break. Again, a while ago, Jomo Vito C. Simbul, you also won it. And Miko Peña, who asked one of the other questions before, as well as Daryl Espanola Malabayabas. So here's the question from Benjo Ramos. Who could be a replacement? Because he's asking better replacement for Leroy, but I think maybe an answer or a better question would be who would be a viable replacement for Leroy? Maybe if you're looking for somebody to finish off the opponent or something like that. Gia, Waning Moon, Ice, if you have like any cards that are popping into your head right now that could be a good improvise to the once lovable or still lovable but now in Hall of Fame Leroy Jenkins.
I'm playing Reckless Rocketeer and Rogue. It's not good, but...
Oh, sorry. Let's go for Gia first. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
I'm playing Reckless Rocketeer and Rogue. It feels bad when you remember Leroy, but if you just forget Leroy existed, it's pretty useful.
Was that what you find with the Rocketeer and Rogue?
Yeah, a lot of lethals from that, surprisingly. It's because people don't play around it anymore. People don't play around
Burst anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, how about you, Waning?
Yeah, I guess for me, Leroy was a neutral card, right? So every class had access to it, and now decks are gonna have to rely on their class-specific cards, I think, to finish off games. Like Demon Hunter has Kain Sun Fury. That's the most obvious replacement for Leroy that I can think of. It's a finisher like Leroy was, but then it's 4 mana, it has 3/5 stats. It's actually something that, unlike Leroy, you could actually play on curve and pressure your opponent with. So you wouldn't necessarily have to save it to finish your opponent off like you would for Leroy. you could just play it on turn 4 if you top deck it.
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, it might actually be better than Leroy.
That's yeah. Okay, that's a super fair argument. So for those who are guessing, Kane Sun Fury is a 4-cost 3/5 that has charge, and when you put it on the board, all friendly attacks ignore taunt. So that is what Winnie Moon is kind of describing here. Anyways, I'm sorry, Ice. I don't think we have enough time to ask you for your question. So before we do end the segment, Ice, is there any final remarks? Where can they find you? What time do you stream? Go ahead.
Yes. So for everybody who wants to check out my stream, you can find me on facebook.com/gwdice. I play a lot of Hearthstone now. I'll probably play it offline for a while until I get out of bronze, just so it's worth watching. And also, I'd like to invite everybody to come watch my Prologue game for Demon Hunter. This is my first official game in Hearthstone after a few years, so I'd love it if you guys watched it and let me know what you think. And yes, you can find it on the AKG Philippines Facebook page, and I think it's also going to be on their YouTube page, so watch out for that.
All right. Thank you so much. Again, guys, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, it's going to be a card opening with one of our secret guests. Well, it's already posted, but I'll keep it secret for those who haven't seen the post at the AKG Games Philippines Facebook page. So, if you guys want to know already, go to the page, like the page, and there you have it. We'll be back with Heart to Heart Talk later on after the break, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey y'all, I'm Chad.
And I'm Val.
We're super excited to bring Demon Hunters to the world of Hearthstone. And today, we'd love to give you more details about how exactly we're going to introduce them and what cards you're going to get.
Right. In just a few days, the Demon Hunter Prologue will go live. The free Prologue is a set of 4 story-driven single-player missions that let you experience how Illidan Stormrage became a Demon Hunter.
Illidan wasn't always a Demon Hunter?
No, he actually started out as a mage of great potential. But when the Burning Legion first invaded Azeroth, he made a deal with the demons, sacrificing everything and pretending to join them in order to gain great demonic power.
Wow, so he double-crossed the demons?
Precisely. Thanks to Illidan, the first demon invasion was foiled.
Awesome. So things worked out well for Illidan then?
Not exactly. The Prologue will be a quick and easy way to introduce you to who Illidan Stormrage is and what Demon Hunters play like.
Once you've completed it, you'll get everything you need to start enjoying Demon Hunter. You'll get the Demon Hunter class, you'll get Illidan Stormrage, the starting hero, and cards, so many free cards. You'll be granted a full set of the 10 new Demon Hunter basic cards and the 20 new Demon Hunter initiate cards for a total of 30 free cards. And finally, you'll earn a starting deck using those cards to jumpstart you when the class is unlocked.
Have we revealed all of those cards?
Almost. There are a variety of ways to play Demon Hunter, from fast and aggressive to swarmy combos to huge late-game demons. And we've saved the last 5 Demon Hunter cards for this very moment, some of the most exciting cards supporting a diverse set of playstyles.
Now there's something with great appeal. I can't help but love a card reveal.
We've talked about how Demon Hunters love to attack with their hero, through the use of their weapons or just their claws. Here's one more card that'll let them attack. But this one is a bit bigger. Here's Inner Demon. Unleash the demon inside you and finish your opponent off with a massive slash of your claws.
Your foes can neither run nor hide when you reveal the demon inside.
You've also heard about how some of the largest demons out there have swapped sides to join the Demon Hunters, and how the Demon Hunters use these allies to drop massive threat after threat to crush their opponent. Here's one more card to synergize with that playstyle, Soul Split. When you've gotten a big demon down, Use Soul Split to extend your dominance of the board.
The greater the soul, the greater the split. This deal's a steal, so let's get it.
Next up, we'd like to introduce you to someone who has recently taken up the mantle of demon hunting. Most people had to sacrifice both their eyes to become a demon hunter. This fellow had to sacrifice all 7. On the upside, he got 6 Warglaives. Check out Sightless Watcher, a great early game minion that makes use of Demon Hunter's special demonic vision to make sure your next draw is exactly what you need.
Those without eyes truly see.
The Sightless Watcher sees the unknown. Take what you want from what is shown.
And now, we've saved the best for last. The 30 free cards include 2 legendaries. Meet Altruist the Outcast, and his trusty steed, the Great Nether Drake Nethrandamus. Altruist will let all of your cards trigger an Outcast-like effect, and Nethrandamus is a star of decks that summon a lot of minions, acting as a late-game finisher.
Wait, you're asking me to rhyme Nethrandamus? Okay. Nethrandamus is no ignoramus. With Drake and Outcast, you will outlast.
Nice. And again, those are all part of the 30 free Demon Hunter cards you get along with the class, hero, and deck for completing the Demon Hunter Prologue.
The hunt begins just days from now. Illidan comes to Hearthstone.
Wow.
Outland, a wild and dangerous world.
You will find no justice here.
Taste my blade! Vengeance is mine! You will regret imprisoning me.
I have become one with the void.
Pain and suffering await you.
Outland, a wild and dangerous world.
You will find no justice here.
Taste my blade! Vengeance is mine! You will regret imprisoning me.
I have become one with the void.
Pain and suffering await you.
Sorry about that. Once again, welcome back everybody to Heart Talk. We'll be talking about matters of the hearth. That is just my description about this talk show right now. Before we do get to introducing our fourth guest, which is still a mystery, but if you just look down to your bottom left, you'll see the name, is to remind you guys to already put your guesses for the mega bundle content, or rather giveaway. So again, all you have to do is put in your hashtag guess. So it's hashtag AKGGamesPH plus the number. So for example, it's 23, like my favorite number, hashtag AKGGamesPH23. And what you're guessing again is the icons or the card packs or card backs that show throughout the entire show. You might be seeing it on the bottom right of your screen, if I'm not mistaken. So if you already have your guesses, please put them in now, because we will be announcing them during this third segment. So without further ado, we're going to be introducing our other guest here. She is a Hearthstone player, made her mark by winning several Fireside Gathering tournaments. And soon enough, she started hosting her own FSG events for the community. Of course, she's well beloved. She recently parted ways with her job as a Q&A manager to pursue a new role as a community manager for, guess what, AKG Games. Let's put a round of hands, claps together for Kara Cute. So,
hello. Hi,
hey.
everyone.
Oh, hey, there you go. I thought it was just going to be the audience. It's actually us. All right, welcome, Kara, to the discussion for Heart to Heart talk. So right now we're going to be discussing about the Ashes of Outlands cards. Now, specifically, we asked, we asked both Gaea and Wainy Moon to give us the cards that they were most interested about in Ashes of Outlands, not only for Demon Hunter, but the whole expansion itself. And of course, Kara has also some of hers. Now, before all of that, Ashes of Outlands fun facts here, guys. It is the 14th expansion and the first in the Year of the Phoenix. So 14th in overall and first in the Year of the Phoenix. It has a total of 135 cards, 52 common, 35 rare, 23 epic, and 25 legendaries. So additional info as well, 10 new cards for all classes except the Demon Hunter that has 15. We also have 30 neutral cards, 42 spells, really good for those who love their spells, you know. I'm a wizard, Harry. 3 legendaries, 37 epics, 15 rare, 17 common, and 89 minion cards. You can already see it there. 4 weapon cards, and of course the new keywords that we were discussing before during the second segment with Ice, Outcast and Dormant. So I think we're gonna start with, you know, kind of just talking about Ashes of Outlands while we pop up into the screen the picks of Gaea first for the non-legendary cards. So for you guys, or actually let's ask Kara first. What do you think about the Ashes of Outlands? I'm pretty sure you've seen the cards already. What do you think would be the possible meta, or maybe, yeah, let's talk about like meta. What are we gonna see, like architect type of decks what we'll be seeing in Ashes of Outlands, or rather with Ashes of Outlands?
Yeah, during the discussion with Gia, and then we actually agreed with the 2 carry cards that we think is viable for this meta. And it's actually the Kane Sun Fury and the Maiev Shadow Song. I think both are good legendary cards.
Okay.
Probably the replacement to Ziliax. I don't know.
To Ziliax. Okay, just for clarification for our viewers, what is the cost effect numbers of Kane Sun Fury and Maiev Shadow Song? You know, just for them.
Kane Sun Fury is a Demon Hunter legendary spell. It's 4 cost mana and 3 attack and 5 health. It has charge, but most importantly, all your friendly minions ignore the taunt. Meaning, even if your opponent has taunt, all of them will ignore it and just go face. Or go whatever. Go wherever.
Yeah. Perfect. That's fine. How about Maiev Shadow Song? You know, the warden that has kept Illidan prisoner for years. What is her role here in Ashes of Outlands?
It actually features the new keyword, which is dormant. You can choose a minion and it goes dormant for 2 turns, which is a pretty big tempo swing when you use it. So it's really interesting how this card will be able to shape up the meta if it's really a good card. We will see once the expansion launches.
Yeah, so you guys, you can see it here in the screen that we're showcasing now, Mayev Shadow Song. So this is actually one of my favorite characters in Warcraft when I've been playing the RTS Warcraft 3. I always thought that her glaive, is that how you call it? Her chakram? Anyways, her weapon is super cool, and just how she looks is just incredible. So anyways, without further ado, let's go to our picked cards for our pros right here. So we'll begin with the Ashes of Outlands non-legendary cards. We'll start with Gaea. So Gaea has picked 2 cards, and 2 of these I've actually already seen. So it's Dark Glare and Priestess of Fury. So I'll give Gaea the floor here to talk about why she picked these 2 particular cards. So first of all, Dark Glare. What do you think, Gaea? Why these 2 cards?
So first, I want to clarify that this category is for minions, non-legendary class minions. We're going by very specific categories here, right?
Yeah, sorry, I forgot about
Dark
that.
Glare, I think, no problem. Dark Glare, I think, really stood out because, spoiler, I actually got to cheat a little bit and play the new expansion, and they had like a 1-day window where some content creators could play the expansion and stream it. And so I was playing against other people that had those cards. And Dark Glare stood out when I fought a certain zoo deck because it's just like essentially giving a free hero power for Warlock. Aside from being a 3-mana 3/4, which is a very good stat line, it's been a good stat line since this one was ever printed long ago. And aside from it being played on curve, as Warlock, you can you can get a free hero power, and there's a lot of synergy for Warlock in this expansion that gives you bonus effects when you damage yourself. So I think this would be kind of the central card for those synergies. Okay. And then the other one is Priestess of Fury. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I already moved on to the next card.
It's perfect. We were just waiting for the card to show. Anyways, Priestess of Fury, yes.
Yeah, that one is from Demon Hunter, which I just think is absolutely nuts. Just given the cost for the stat line and effect, it's so efficient because not only is it 7 mana 6/7, I believe, which is, pretty fairly statted. Your 6 mana 6/7 is the standard stat line for 6 mana, Boulder Fist Ogre. And then for the added 1 mana, you are getting an end of turn effect that deals 6 damage randomly split among all enemies. So it's pretty decent odds to remove something your opponent has. And it's not just a once of effect. It can keep going at the end of every turn while this is alive. And most importantly, in Demon Hunter, there's also a new card, 4 mana 4/4, whose battle cry reduces the cost of the next demon you play by 2. That card is called Raging Fell Screamer. And so on an ideal world, you can actually play this Priestess of Fury on turn 5. So both of the cards I picked are relying on other synergy within their class to reach full potential, but I feel like they can kind of quite consistently reach this potential.
Yeah, it seems like they're really, really strong cards right now. I can see already like a lot of people going to be trying to get the most out of these 2 cards. So I might have made a slight mistake with this one, guys. So we're going to start first with talking about class legendaries that they like the most. So it seems like we're going to be going for the big boys for now. So yeah, that was my bad. That was my mistake. I take full responsibility on that, guys. But still, I really like what Gaea said about those 2 particular cards, especially the Priestess of Fury. I think she's going to be a super fun card to use when you're able to obtain her. So we'll still stick with Gaea here. One of her class legendaries that she picked is called the Shadow Jeweler Hanar. Did I pronounce that right?
Jeweler, I think. Shadow Jeweler.
Why did I say Jeweler? Okay, so Gaea, you still have the floor. Why did you pick this particular legendary for Ashes of Outlands?
You just have to look at the upper left corner and the lower right corner. 2 mana for 5 health? Hello, Blizzard? Is this... This looks so insane. Okay. one attack, to be fair, not very powerful, but that health line makes this so difficult to remove by the time you can play it. If you play it on curve, my gosh, you can get so much value. And Rogue has new secrets as well. And then if you are able to discover a paladin secret, those cost 1 mana. So essentially on turn 3, if this sticks, and most of the time it will, if you play a secret, discover a paladin secret, you can essentially play 3 mana worth of secrets and just cycle because you're discovering a new secret for both of those. And every turn, it's like the secrets make this even stickier a lot of the time, and then it can just keep getting so much value in the early game. Of course, this is the ideal situation, which is playing it on curve, but my gosh, what a card.
Your answer is emanating through your microphone, and I can like feel it in my headset right now, and I'm also kind of giggling and want to see what this Shadow Jeweler Hanar can do. Okay, so awesome answer, Gaea. Awesome pick for a card. Definitely looking forward for this. So next up is Waning Moon. For the class legendaries, he picked the Reliquary of Souls. Yes, did I pronounce that right? Reliquary of Souls. So Waning Moon, this seems like a really awesome looking card. It has a lot of crystals or ice that comes with the face. Why did you pick this card? Aside from it looking awesome, obviously.
Yeah, so 1 mana, 1/3. That's about as good as a stat line that you want from a 1-cost card. Like, it's so just on its own, even if it wasn't a prime, even if it didn't shuffle a prime into your deck or have lifesteal, it would be decent, right? Priest lost Northshire Cleric, so this sort of fills that gap. But I think the main reason I found it interesting is because it would fit in the new type of priest that they're sort of pushing. They're pushing the Highlander priest. They're pushing a priest that doesn't rely on the resurrect combo. It would fit really well in that kind of priest where you just want to play a minion on 1 that has good value, that it's sort of defensive because it has lifesteal, and then the prime that it shuffles into your deck is also really powerful. If I'm not mistaken, it can't be targeted by spells or hero powers, but you can still target it with your own spell, so you can buff it. That makes it really strong for the way I think that they want priests to be played, where you just make big minions and you buff them. Yeah.
It's also 7 mana, 6/8 taunt lifesteal. So
taunt
it is
lifesteal.
a very, very control heavy wall. Well, go on.
Yeah. It's sort of like the Winged Guardian that we have now. Can't be targeted by spell. It's the Winged Guardian 6/8. This one has that, and you can buff it, and it has a lifesteal. So very good.
Yeah. Wait, sorry. I'm just kind of like double check, like looking at this card once again. Definitely has a lot of value to it. All right, so next up, we'll be talking about Kara's picked legendary, which is aptly named Akama. So Kara, please kind of give us more light as to why you picked Akama as your card.
Yeah, Akama is another one of the rogue legendaries. So we already saw Gaea's pick, which is also a rogue legendary. And this one is a 3 mana minion that has 3 attack and 4 health. It's stealth. And then the Death Rattle, you will shuffle an Akama Prime into your deck. And what's interesting about this card is, I think this is the first time that there's this new mechanic, or not really new, but permanently stealth. So the Akama Prime that will shuffle in your deck is actually permanently stealth, which means even if the minion attacks, it's still hidden. It's stealth. So I find it cool, that kind of somewhat new card, or new perspective.
Okay. Follow-up question to that. You said permanently stealth. On the top of my head, how do you counter such a thing that has permanent stealth? That is scary. Is that the card, Gaea? Wait,
Yeah.
Akama Prime.
I don't think
let me
we have
check that.
assets for the primes. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys, if you're watching on your phones or your computers, you can definitely just search it online. I'm checking it right now. Permanently stealthed. It's a
Yeah,
6
actually you
mana
can.
6/5. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Sorry,
only
Jay.
way you can
Sorry,
kill
Kari.
it.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
The only way you can
Kara
kill
was
it
saying what I think.
probably deadly shot or brawl. It's how you actually not directly target the minion, but somewhat
You
do
need mass AoE
spells.
or
Yeah.
you need things that don't target, which is very specific, very hard to remove. So
Or you just put a ton in front of it.
Yeah, that's also an option.
You don't want it to go face.
Why is it?
It's 6 mana, 6/5. Permanently
6
stealth.
mana, 6 friendly stealth.
That's very, very scary to deal with. Okay, so we have a question from one of our
asset.
There we go. Yeah, Gia's showing to it. She's one of the production team now. Yeah, you can search it up. Akama Prime is a purpleless version of Akama, if I saw it correctly when I searched it up as well. So, okay, we have a question from one of our viewers, and this viewer will win a card pack from Litten Co. I'm sorry again if I pronounce your names incorrectly, as some of our viewers are actually outside of the Philippines. So welcome, guys, again to Heart Talk here at AKG Games Philippines. So his question, I think, would be directed to everybody, but I think this question came because of what Gia picked as her class legendary. How many secrets can you stack or play in your hero? So how many can you put on your hero before you can't put any more secrets? Okay,
The
5.
maximum
There
is
you go.
5.
There you go.
Christmas
So if
tree.
you haven't done, if you weren't able to to check or have never tried the maxing out your secrets, it's 5. All right. So next up, hang on. Okay, so we're gonna be talking about not any more of the picks, or we're gonna go later on for the other picks of our guests here. So we're gonna be talking about 3 legendary spells in this particular expansion. So those 3 spells are Soul Mirror, Invocation, and Metamorphosis. So for me, I feel like the coolest one is Metamorphosis because that is one of the skills that Illidan had in in one of the Warcraft games, and that allowed him to transform. For here, I believe what it does is that it turns your hero power into a 5 damage ping. I can't remember how much the hero power costs when you change
Still
it.
one
And
mana.
Still
one
one,
mana.
yeah.
That
Still
is
one mana.
awesome. All right, and then the Metamorphosis spell, I believe, costs for 5 mana cost, I believe. Okay, so we're gonna be talking about these, but before that, you can guys finally see Akama down below on the image on your screens now. So there you go, Akama
The
3,
asset
3, 4.
was so hard to find because he's stealth permanently.
Good one, Gia.
Okay. I'm supposed to be the host. I'm the one to put out the puns. Gia, what are you doing?
sorry.
No,
Go on.
No. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Perfect. That was awesome. Okay, so all right. This we're gonna be showcasing 3 of the legendary spells that are available for Ashes of Outlands: Soul Mirror, Invocation, and Metamorphosis. So hang on as I pop that out as well while we're waiting for them. So let's ask Kara about what she thinks about these 3 cards and what you think is the best card out of these 3. You know, just as a if you're gonna use it, what do you think is the best one that you'll definitely use in competitive play?
I think the best one is the Metamorphosis because you can take advantage of using your hero power as a demon hunter, using the one mana hero power, and then using Metamorphosis. When you do that, your power will refresh. Means you can still deal another 5 damage. So it's after 2 use, it will swap it back. So meaning when you use it after the second time, you can still use again your hero power 1 attack So I think powerful and really for the invocation, for the mage spell, I think this is bad, especially if you get from the puzzle box because puzzle box costs 10 and this one just gives you all the mage spells and then you discard it. So it's probably useless. I mean not really useless, sorry. It's probably bad in the
Oh,
so
sorry, Kara, we
yeah.
didn't get that last part. Can you repeat that a little bit for
Uh,
evocation?
Yeah, for the invocation, if you get this from the puzzle box, which is the mage spell, it's kind of bad since you won't be able to cast any spells, since
Mm.
the, the the puzzle box already costs 10, so you won't have any mana to cast any spells that you will get from the evocation.
Okay, makes sense. It kind of it kind of cripples you a little bit when you try to play it because you won't have any extra budget to use it. Is that correct?
Yep,
Okay,
no more use
awesome.
the spells.
All right. So the next card that we want to talk about right now is Soul Mirror. So this is a 7 cost that summons copies of enemies and they attack their copies. So this looks to me like some sort of board clear. But what other uses do you think this can bring to the table? Soul Mirror.
Well,
Is that
I think
oh, go ahead,
sorry,
Gia.
this is Upper.
Anyone? Yeah, you first, Gia.
It's board clear if your opponent is playing minions with higher attack than health. But if it's lower attack than their health, then both your copies and their copies survive. So I don't think you would play it if it's like I don't know the average value if everybody's minion survives because it's like you're just summoning some weak minions, you're weakening your opponent's minions, but then they can dictate the trades afterwards. So I feel like you would rather play this as a guaranteed board clear, but it's only situational. So I think it's very hard to evaluate, but it on my gut feeling it seems like it should be a card because purely because priest's AoE right now is turn 4, turn 5, and turn 9. So this gives them another way to remove things.
Yeah, it's sort of
Okay.
like an old priest card. Priest used to have a card called Light Bomb that was 6 mana, and then it would make all minions on the board deal damage to themselves equal to their attack. So so if you want to maybe try to guess at its power level, I guess that'd be the easiest way to compare it. Light Bomb was 6 mana. This is 7 mana, but then I guess the added effect of this card is if your opponent has death rattles, you steal them. Right? If he has
That's true.
primes, for example, the primes kill each other, and then you get the primes in your deck as well. So I'm guessing that most often we'll be using it as a board clear, but it has some extra utility for other situations as well.
Okay, so just for a follow up question for all three of you, or at least for Soul Mirror, because I feel like Metamorphosis is something that you are all in favor of. Will you cop Soul Mirror into your deck if you have the chance to do so? Like, would you want to try to? Would you use this in competitive? Like, I'm
I
just
would.
curious. Like,
I definitely think
I
it's
get
worth testing. If you're playing a slower priest deck, this seems like a decent board clear. So at the very least, test it.
okay. How about you, Kara? What do you think? Are you gonna cop this or cop or drop?
I think it's a good card because it's what Winningman mentioned. It can be good for the Highlander race that Dustin is pushing.
Okay. Okay. I think we already got
Wizards.
Waining's. Oh yeah, I think we got Waining's input on this one. So we haven't heard Gia and Waining's weight on evocation and metamorphosis. So as a quick, answer, or rather as a quick answer to it, what do you think, guy? What do you guys think about Metamorphosis and Evocation. Let's ask Waning first. What do you think about these two cards? Metamorphosis seems super, super cool. I'm not sure about Evocation, but what are your thoughts, my man?
Yeah, Metamorphosis seems really good, actually, because it's in one card, it's essentially 10 damage. And you can distribute the damage in bursts of 5. You can use it as removal, or you can use it to go face. So, yeah, I think of it as sort of like a 7 mana card overall. That's how I'd evaluate it. Like, it's 5 mana to cast a spell, and then you use the hero power twice, right? So you're spending 7 mana to do 10 damage. It's a cheaper version of Pyroblast, and you can distribute the damage. Yeah, so it's good.
Okay. How about Evocation?
And as for Evocation, I think on its own, it might not be that good, but when you combo it with cards like Sorcerer's Apprentice or Mana Cyclone, I think it has potential. Like,
okay.
But it depends. It depends on what archetypes come up, right? It depends on the synergy in the deck. It definitely belongs in a very specific archetype of mage that probably doesn't exist right now. But I'm sure people will try to experiment.
Yeah, they'll definitely try to play around this card. So just for clarification, so Sorcerer's Apprentice and the other card that you mentioned are cards that lower the cost of spells.
Sorcerer's Apprentice reduces the cost of all spells of all spells that you play while it's alive by 1. It's a 2 mana 3/2. And then the Mana Cyclone's a 2 mana 2/2 that adds random mage spells to your hand equal to the number of spells that you've cast that turn. So they're combo cards that go well with decks that are heavy in spells.
Okay, awesome. All right, so let's go on to the next part. Wait. Oh, sorry, I haven't asked
I'll
Gia
be
yet.
quick, don't worry.
No.
Metamorphosis is good.
Yeah,
definitely good. I wish Blackworld Pixie was staying in standard because that card refreshes your hero power, but it's going to wild. Also, Shadow Form is crying in the corner because Metamorphosis is good. Evocation, I think it's good. Like Dustin said, it doesn't belong in any current archetype. It can't fit in Highlander Mage because that deck has too many expensive cards in hand. But if you're playing something like a Casino Mage like before, sadly Flame Waker is not in standard anymore, but that type of deck that does a lot of rapid fire, this is just a refill in hand. And they're also pushing a new archetype for Mage, which is no minions at all. If that archetype is a thing, this card is an auto-include. So I think it has potential.
Awesome. Actually, I'm looking at this is just to add to the evocation. I'm looking at one of the cards that we have on our list, and this is called the Incanter's Flow, which basically is a two cost spell that reduces the cost of your spells in your deck by 1. So this might be something to add to for evocation to have a little bit more value for you. Oh wait, maybe? I'm not sure though.
Well, technically, it won't reduce the cost of any of the cards that evocation generates, so it's only a 1 mana discount. But even then, it's okay. We'll talk about Incanter's Flow more later.
Yes, for sure. All right, that was just something random. I just saw it and I was curious. Anyways, we're going to be going to the non-legendary cards that our guests have picked up for themselves. So we'll start, of course, with Waning Moon. So for his non-legendary cards, he has picked, hang on, it is the Felfin Navigator and the Rust-Sworn Cultist. So have at thee, Waning Moon. Why pick this this Murloc? Yeah.
It's interesting, right? Because we don't have a Murloc. I mean, we do have Murloc decks right now, but this definitely adds to their power level. It's 4 mana, 4/4, which is as much health as Murlocs usually ever have, right? 4 health. On its own, it's already very good. It's like you play it on curve in a Murloc deck, and you're instantly pressuring your opponent. So I think if Murloc decks become a thing, if there's a spot for them in the meta, then this will be in every Murloc deck for sure. It makes them stronger. It makes them more viable.
Okay. Next up, you said you also put in your list Rust-Sworn Cultist.
Yeah, to
one.
clarify, this is
Only-
our
yes.
neutral picks. Neutral
Yeah.
non-legendary, so not yet.
Neutral non-legendaries.
What does that do, yeah?
It is a
Okay.
4-cost 3/3 card that has a battle cry that give your other minions death rattle and
Oh, right, yeah.
summon a 1/1 demon. There you go.
Yeah, so it's kind of it's the Soul of the Murloc effect. Soul of the Murloc is a card that we have now that buffs your whole board with the death rattle, summon a 1/1. Right? It's sort of like half of a Soul of the Forest, and it comes in a 4 mana 3. So I think this would be an interesting addition to the token deck. Decks that are good at generating large amounts of minions on the board that stick, because for one, it takes advantage of the fact that you have all those minions sticking, and secondly, it creates more tokens that also stick. So any deck that has that kind of synergy might want to look at playing this card. It's like a Soul of the Forest. It's like Soul of the Forest or Soul of the Murloc that comes with a minion attached.
And it's neutral, so any class can access.
Definitely.
Okay. Got it. All right. Next up, we have Gaea, whose choice is 1, but it's very overconfident. It's called the Overconfident Orc. I don't know.
Yeah.
My jokes are bad.
No, don't worry.
Right, so,
I feel like this fits me
Gaea.
perfectly. Okay. Yeah, so when you play this is a 3 mana 3/6 with taunt, which is very, very powerful just in a vacuum. Of course, there will be situations where it doesn't get the bonus, and that's usually when your opponent is playing like Dustin's pick, token decks, because after one hit, suddenly you're down to a 1 mana 1/6, 1 mana 1/5, 1/4 after it takes the damage, and then it's not really that good. But I feel like in most decks, if you're going head to head for minions, if you play this as a 3/6, your opponent has either only 1 minion or no minions on board. It's quite good. You might say that this sucks because there are classes that can just ping this and take the 1 damage away. Like that investment of 2 mana or 1 mana if you're Demon Hunter might be a little bit expensive to use on turn 3 or turn 4. So I think that Overconfident Orc is quite decent.
I can see the value already. Next up is Kara, or do you want to call us Kara? Do you want us to call you Kara or Kara cute?
Just cute.
Or just cute?
Kara is okay.
Okay, Kara's okay. So Kara has picked for herself, for the neutral non-legendary cards, the Imprisoned Vile Fiend. So Kara, while we are showing this, it's a 2-cost 3/5. Why pick this particular card?
I think it's very powerful for a 2-cost minion. It's a 3/5. It's dormant for 2 turns, but then after 2 turns, it has rush. So I think if the rush is not there, it might be weaker. But since you can attack immediately using that minion, I think it's good for a 2-cost 3/5 stat line.
Okay. Quick question to all you guys, and this is just for confirmation for me and to the other people out there who might not understand Dormant yet. So Dormant is, you have to wait 2 turns for the effect to work. But during that Dormant stage, can you attack this card that is already on the board or no? Because I'm a little bit confused on this particular facet of Dormant. So can we attack it or no?
No, you can't attack use spells with it. It's wasted. Right.
Okay.
So it's just a card on the board.
It's just a card on the board that you can't attack or attack
it's
with
like
spells?
a placeholder.
You can't interact with it in any way.
Oh, I see. All right, so you basically have to wait 2 turns for you to even try to counter it. Is that right? Something like that.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome.
I will
All right,
say that for both mine and Kara's picks, these cards are only very strong when played on curve. So on turn 2 and turn 3 respectively. I think later in the game, if you draw those, they're quite weak. Whereas Dustin's card is very good in Battlegrounds, but it's not a Battlegrounds card.
Is it a Battleground? No, it's not.
The Murloc.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I'm seeing so much like combos that you can do in Battlegrounds, and Murloc is the one that I think like has like a like 30 damage at a particular turn because you can just keep buying and selling, especially the Murloc that summons the 2/1 that summons the 1/1, and you can just keep selling it for coin. That is super annoying because you can just keep using that coin for more Murlocs. Okay, next up we have our class non-legendary. So, wait, just to confirm. Okay, so I think this is the one that Waning Moon picked up. So Waning Moon, is it right that you picked for your class non-legendary cards for Ashes of Outlands the Dragon Maw Overseer and the Blackjack Stunner? Is this correct? I'm just double checking, guys, because our list is a bit. Yeah. This is the one you picked, Waning?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. So again, Waning's pick is the Dragon Maw Overseer and the Blackjack Stunner. I mean, Blackjack Stunner sounds like a wrestling move, but yeah, talk about the Dragon Maw Overseer first.
Yeah, so it really, at this point, it seems like I'm pushing a Highlander Priest, right? But this is just what Blizzard is giving us, right? They're giving us cards that are good on curve. They're giving us cards that are good tempo. They want priests to veer away from, I guess, what people are playing now, which is Resurrect or what people played in the past, which is Combo or OTK. Dragon Maw Overseer is basically a 4/4. As long as you have a minion on the board, when you play it on turn 3, it's 4/4 stats for 3. So it sort of reminds me of and then it grows every turn, right? As long as you always have minions for it to buff and it's not dealt with, it's +2/+2 stats every turn. And that's... Yeah, there aren't many cards that are like that. It seems like it would be a staple card in something like Highlander Priest.
Yeah. Okay, so next up, you also picked the Blackjack Stunner. Why pick this particular card here? It's a 1 cost 1/2.
Yeah, so this sort of goes into the whole secret road package that they seem to be encouraging right now. So you have the Shadow Jeweler Hanar, you have the new Rogue Secrets, and then now you have this. It's a 1 mana 1/2, and it's basically sap, but it comes with a minion, and it makes the minion cost 2 more. It's like a freezing trap that you target for 1 mana. If Secret Rogue is a thing, this would be extremely powerful.
I'm looking forward to it. This thing seems like it'll basically try to frustrate somebody who might play against that Secret Rogue, and I don't want to be that guy. Okay, so next up, Gaea also has a pick from the class non-legendaries, and it is the Rusted Raider. Did I pronounce this right?
That's actually from my neutral picks. We already talked about my class non. I think the Google Doc got a little bit jumbled out, but it's alright.
Might have been.
So this one, I think it seems really good on paper, but I don't know if the power level is high enough to actually be played in a deck. I can guarantee you this is good in arena. But yeah, on turn 5 mana 5/8 rush, probably kills something, stays alive. At that point, it's probably like a 1/4, a 1/3. So you killed something for 5 mana and still have something remaining. Not bad.
Yeah, could work. Yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah.
All right. So for Kara's pick, she chose the Crimson Sigil Runner. All right. So we'll show it on the and Kara, go for it. What are your thoughts on this particular card?
This card, Demon Hunter, 1 mana Outcast draw card. It's actually pretty good when you like top deck this on your turn 1 because it gives you Outcast. But then during the mulligan phase, it won't be an Outcast if you like get it like on the second part. I mean on the middle part of your mulligan. So it's either you get it on the first one, so it has Outcast, or you top deck it. But I think it will be a staple card for Demon Hunter.
Yeah,
Not sure if G and Waning will agree.
What do you guys
I
think?
think it's fine. This reminds me of Kobold Librarian from Warlock. It's not guaranteed to draw, but I feel like if you're playing an aggro deck, a lot of the time you will cast effect. So it seems decent.
Yeah. How about you, Wayne?
Yeah, a well-made Demon Hunter deck should make it easy to activate Outcast. Right? So you're usually gonna be able to play this for its value.
Yeah. Again, I remembered our discussion before earlier. I think in the second segment was that Demon Hunter has more options to kind of use their cards, and because the cards are cheaper. Pardon me if if I'm wrong with this. You might be able to at least cycle through your cards faster and activate Outcast better or more often. Okay, so we have a question here from one of our viewers. Before we get into the spell portion of our Ashes of Outlands, what do these cards what these pros like with their Ashes of Outlands cards? So the question is from our dude Robert Gonzalez, and his question is also something that I think a lot of us would want to be answered. Are there any general strategies in dealing with dormant cards? Now, let's again looking at the Imprisoned Antean and the other ones. Let's ask Wayne Moon first. So because I feel like a lot of the guests here would have answers to it. Is there an ideal solution to dealing with these dormant cards, Wayne?
I don't think. I guess it depends on what the card does, right? Because some dormant cards they don't actually affect your board. I know there's a druid one that just discounts a minion that's in the druid's hand, right? If it's something like, for example, the Antean that actually directly affects you, then you're gonna have to play around it. Since there's no way to interact with the minion, you're just gonna have to. It'll differ from game to game. You're gonna want to put yourself in the best position possible to minimize the effect that it has when it awakens. Like for the Antean, you might want to just put a lot of high health minions on the board so that the damage gets spread. It's similar to how you would play around Reno right now. If like right now, Mage has an effect that's kind of similar. Reno does 10 damage split across the opponent's board. So the way you play around that right now is to have a lot of high health minions to reduce the chance of any one specific minion dying. So it's kind of similar to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you shouldn't play things like zoo cards. Like if they have an Antean, you probably shouldn't be playing things like the Swarm of Locusts from Hunter. You shouldn't play the one that Demon Hunter has. I forgot the name of it. But my advice for dealing with Dormant is kill them as soon as they play the Dormant. No, just because when they play Dormant, they're taking that much time to do nothing in a turn, right? So essentially you have 2 turns to capitalize on their slow turn and pressure them as much as possible. So my best solution for dealing with Dormant is make it very difficult for them to play it in the first place.
Smart.
How? Yeah. Actually, that's I'm like putting that into my mental notes already. Like you go, girl. All right. Anyways, Kara, what's your your strategy or maybe thought process in trying to deal with Dormant? Do you try to play around it, or do you try to punish, like Gia said, or do you have like a third option that us mortal people here in me as well as some of the ones in the chat, because I'm pretty sure chat is definitely higher level than I do. Anyways, solution to Dormant.
I think Dormant is not really very popular in the current meta, even before. So it's most probably it's a new mechanic that's in the Ashes of Outland. So we can see what else we can do during the games. So for now, I don't know yet.
Okay.
We'll just think of something to how to deal with it in the future.
Also a viable strategy. Wait and see. Experience is king in this type of things. It's definite good strategy from Kara. Yeah. Okay. So We'll go next to the spells because, of course, we like those spells. And Expelliarmus, Vada Kedavra. I might be talking about a different area here, but anyways, for Waning Moon, the spells that he has picked for himself is the Hand of the Adal, and what Gia was talking about a while ago. He also picked the Librum of Hope. So, Waning, what about these spells? What was the most what was the most factor that led you to choose these two particular spell cards?
So for Hand of a Doll, it's +2/+2 for 2 mana. I sort of think of it as a half of a Blessing of Kings, but then it draws. It cycles. Anything that cycles for so cheap while still having a decent effect on the board for its mana cost will always be a standard. Will always be standard, I think. Like any paladin that can use this, that has minions that it plays on turn 1, that it can buff on turn 2, will have to have this card, I think.
Okay. Perfect answer. Yeah, I remember Blessing of Kings. I always use it in my, I think, mid-range paladin. Anyways, next up is you also picked up Librum of Hope. Is this a spell for paladin only, or is this like for everybody?
Yeah, it's also paladins. Actually, all spells are for one class only.
Oh, okay.
So Librum of Hope is yeah, it's sort of like a hidden oasis right now for the. If you play Quest Druid right now, you have this spell that heals for 12 and puts a 6/6 taunt on the board. So it's a really strong swing against aggro decks, against face decks. I think it'll make Control Paladin viable again, so that's really interesting. And there's all the Librum synergy that they've added to the Paladin pool also.
Yeah. Seems like a very, awesome card. I can only say awesome, incredible, because they do look like they'll definitely put some impact to your gameplay, especially, or rather, if you're a Paladin player, this is something that you might want to try to craft if you have enough dust for it. Anyways, next up is Gia. So she picked up one of the... Okay, we're going a little bit back into the lore. She has the Hand of Gul'dan. Holding hands with that, she also picked the Nagrand Slam. So, Gia?
Nagrand Slam. I don't know how you pronounce it, but I'm going to say it like that.
How did you pronounce it? Nagrand Slam.
No. I don't think you said it wrong, but it has a Grand Slam in it, so I'm just going to say Nagrand Slam. Okay. Anyway, Hand of Gul'dan. When you play or discard this, draw 3 cards, and obviously you would rather discard it. And this is something I didn't expect to be good, but in that small preview I had, when I was playing, I queued into somebody with a zoo deck that was playing this card called Expired Merchant from a previous expansion, which discards the highest cost card in your hand as the battle cry. Then the Death Rattle puts it back into your hand. Or puts 2 copies. Was it 2 copies? It's 2 copies. So essentially you have an eternal cycle for zoo. So a zoo deck, for anyone that isn't familiar, is just an aggro archetype for Warlock that's been there since the beginning of Hearthstone. So if you're playing an aggro deck, for sure the 6 cost card will be the most expensive. And if it's in hand, you can consistently cycle and just basically never run out of threats until you actually hit the bottom of your deck. And there's, aside from Expired Merchant, a bunch of new discard synergy from this expansion. I forget the names of the cards, but it is going to be powerful. I will say that.
Yeah, it seems like you can get this effect for free if you have like a discard effect, like you said with this Expired Merchant. Anyways, your next one is, again, I don't know why I keep butchering some of these names. It feels like I should be able to pronounce them correctly. Chat, please tell me if I'm pronouncing it correctly or not. Nagrand Slam. This is another of Gia's spells that she have picked up. It's a 10 cost. Gia, take it away.
Yeah. Nagrand Slam. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly.
I can't pronounce it like that.
Just says Grand Slam. So any 10 cost card in Hearthstone generally is difficult to play, right? You have to wait until the peak of your mana to be able to play it. Then you spend the entire turn playing it. And so it is a bold prediction for me to say that this will actually be good, but I just love it. I mean, I was the girl that tried to put Call of the Wild into every mid-range hunter deck, which is a 9-cost card. It got unnerfed back to 8 for a while. Anyway, Grand Slam summons 4/3/5, so that's better than Call the Wild, and then they immediately attack. So that can be problematic because you can't dictate where the trades go. But if your opponent has an empty board, these 3/5s go face. I didn't realize that until I played the expansion. I thought they only attack other minions, but this can actually deal 12 damage if your opponent has an empty board. Of course, that's a very ideal situation. And I don't actually know if this will be good, but I just love
Yeah, you're right. I actually just realized that now. It's random enemies. So it's like 12
Yeah, it can go
damage.
face.
Oh gosh, I feel like there's a glimmer in the eyes now of waning. It's like, yeah, I'll be able to use this on my hunter. Thanks for the fact, Gaea. I'm gonna beat some people with this or use it against other opponents, and they won't know. Then they will after it slams into their faces. So next up is Kara's picks, which is a rogue secret called Bamboozle. Yeah. And Secrets and Ambush. Did I say that right? See, I keep making mistakes when I pronounce these. Sorry, there's 3 of them. Bamboozle, Dirty Trick, and Ambush. So, Kara, why these 3?
Secret has been existing before for Rogue, but I think for this expansion, they're pushing more on the secret package for the Rogue class. So I think it's good to highlight these 3 secret cards that I think is very viable, especially the Bamboozle, where it attacks and then summons a random cost 3 more. So that's actually attacks a one mana card. It will be a four mana, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 1+3. So and then the dirty trick is also good because you can draw like 2 cards. And ambush is not that bad. You will get out 2/3 with poisonous. So I think all these secrets are good to play when you're trying to push for the secret rogue type.
Has Secret Rogue ever been like a thing that's been played before, or not yet?
It wasn't its
I
own
think
archetype. There was Malagos Rogue before that would play a certain secret called Cheat Death. I think it's kind of like Ice Block. It just gives you immunity after your opponent deals damage in a turn. But that's not even in standard anymore. I think.
Yeah. So it's not, there's not like deck that or rogue that really plays with more secrets than just that one, at least before.
Yeah, this will be the
yeah,
first
it's
time
not
we'll have a
Yep.
legit secret rogue archetype.
Okay.
right.
Okay. So this will definitely kind of make those, well, at first glance, those rogue players might want to try out these secret cards. All right. So, Kara, any last words about these 3 cards that you just picked? Like something that people might also want to try out with them, or something
I
like.
think it's since it's kind of new. I think it's best to try this secret rogue. For sure, I will. This will be one of the decks that I'll play when the expansion launches. So try it
Oh.
because it has also the support
I go
package. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, yeah.
I'm curious if Bamboozle triggers with Noble Sacrifice from Paladin. That's a Paladin secret which summons a 2/1 as a new target whenever your opponent attacks something. So if Rogue is able to discover that from Paladin and they have Bamboozle, I don't know if the 2/1 evolves in Lost Minion or not. But
Yeah, I think it
and
does.
obviously this
It
is like
probably does.
perfect world with Hanar. So that's like the
Yeah.
absolute dream, I'm pretty sure.
So you get a random 4-drop.
4 drop, a protected Hanar, and and then your board is intact. Ish.
I wonder if the trade doesn't even happen anymore. The 2/1 doesn't trade with the minion that attacked it. It just
I'm not sure.
disappears. Yeah,
But the thing
probably
is, like,
because if it was
usually,
dead, it couldn't evolve.
yeah, usually secrets are more powerful when there's more in the pool, because other classes with secrets, they have way more than just 3. So your opponent has to consider more things, and they can make more mistakes because of that. So Rogue only has 3, but because of Hanar, they have access to the secrets of every class. So that is what potentially makes the deck powerful. Without Hanar, though, I don't think the secrets are that great.
Okay, I'm still looking forward to seeing a secret rogue because I feel like it's in the theme of being a rogue. You can keep your secrets and whatnot. Anyways, so that is all the time for the card selection of our guests here for the Ashes of Outland. So now we're going to be going into the portion where Kara will be opening card packs for us. Now, I actually forgot how many, but this is like a bajillion card packs. How many was it? Like 145?
Yep, 145 cards, courtesy
Oh
of
my
Blizzard
gosh.
and games. Thank you.
Can they also put that into my new account that I'm gonna be building? Because I don't want to use my.
Wait, hush. Hope everyone.
Sana all. No, it's already half English, so it's hope all.
Yeah. Okay. Hope all. Okay.
Yeah, for those who don't speak Filipino, it basically means that we hope to get these cards as well, or these packs as well. Yeah, you were saying, Kara? Yeah.
I think I'm gonna start opening packs because there's quite a lot. But the viewers can guess like how many legendaries we will get, right?
Yes. So that is also another thing that we're gonna be asking you guys. So if you can guess how many legendaries Kara can open with these 145 packs, Kara, just keep going ahead and count.
Let's start. We should start. Let's go.
You will be getting a classic card pack from us. The ones that are still up for grabs from the
one agad.
just one. What? Just one? Oh, well, okay. We need like a counter on the screen right now. But anyways, so she had one already. Also, guys, at the end of the card pack opening, we will be announcing the winner of the Mega Bundaroo. All right, so for that one, again, you're going to be getting an Ashes of Outlands Mega Bundle. If you guessed correctly how many times the Serpent card back appeared on screen during the entire stream. Now, we've stopped, I believe, showing up the Serpent anymore, so we've already maxed it out. So again, for you guys who have not yet put in your guess, just put in the chat, #AKGGamesPH, and then the number. Together, guys, not separate. So it has to be like, let's say, again, 23, #AKGGamesPH23. So that's your guess. And if it's your first guess and you got it right, then you will win the Ashes of Outlands Mega Pack Bundle. And I cannot stress enough that it is an incredible bundle that has a value right now of $79.99 USD. So, hats off to you guys because all 4 of us cannot join the giveaway. I think Gaea at one point, and I think Wayneman at one point was like a little bit. What's the word I'm looking for? Disappointed.
Disappointed. All caps.
Yeah. All caps. All right. So again, we're planning out the legendaries here, and again to reiterate, we talked about this earlier in the stream where there's no more extra duplicates. So once you have the 2 copies of the card, you can't get them anymore. So that means that Kara is opening here for a win, actually, because she's lowering the amount of cards that she has not yet gotten. So legendaries the legendary pick rate will get bigger and bigger. So you gotta up those guesses, guys.
Seems good. We can't hear the
We only got
audio
one so far.
of the game, right?
There's only one so far.
So far, since we can't hear the audio, Dustin, can you do the innkeeper thing? The epic, rare.
What does he say?
Yeah.
He says like rare, legendary, that type of thing. It seems so lacking without the innkeeper.
Oh no. Maybe you can ask Kara to put like her her microphone and her earphone together so that we can hear it in her head. I don't know. Crude solutions here, guys.
There must be a game we can make out of this. Come on, host.
Okay, quick question. All right, not really a game, not really a game, but a question, because I saw this from one of the viewers here, and it kind of led me to ask this question. So, if you guys play on PC, if you're not playing on mobile, how do you open your cards? Because I remember you can open it using mouse clicks, or you can also open it using space bar. Was it?
Yeah, I'm a spacebar spammer.
Yeah,
So that's my there you go. So we have spacebar spammers. It seems like Kara is the left click.
She's using her mouse.
Lieutenant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's using her mouse. All right, there you go.
I'm using both.
Okay,
mouse and keyboard.
The most next level thing I've seen is from an edition player. Header that opens the packs automatically. I don't know what it is, but I need it.
Wait, there's something that opens the packs automatically. Oh, you broke up for a second there.
We created the pro.
It's like a plugin or something.
What?
Just have to watch.
But how would your fingers get like biceps now if you don't, click by opening packs? It's like a mini workout, I don't know.
Spoiler: fingers don't get biceps. Haha.
What's the guesses in
Like, look at that! I flex it, and there's like a bump coming out. I'm sorry, we're going into the cringe part already.
We only have one legendary so far. I wanted to know.
We only have one legendary so far.
Yeah. What's the guess?
Is the duplicate protection already live? Because if it is, shouldn't you get the full collection from this?
No. There's a YouTube video from Cardbot Animation. Oh, we got two now.
What was that?
Okay.
What legendary was it?
There's a video from Cardbot Animation.
Oh,
there's a third one.
Another one. Okay, I'm gonna guess it's Akama because Kara picked it. What do you think?
I'm just gonna agree with you.
No one else guessed. What the because she trash talked evocation. That's what you get.
I'm sorry, I don't know a lot of the legendary cards, so you have to forgive me for that. Full collection is 220 packs. All right, somebody has answered in the chat.
Okay, so
I'm not
145
sure if we'll
out of 225. That's the majority.
Yeah.
Rare.
So you can actually guarantee a full collection now with X number of packs, right?
Yeah.
Think of it that way.
How much is a pack actually?
Wait, so how did the math on that happen?
Oh no.
Wait. So in gold, it's 100 per pack. Is it every pack or just like every pack is 100 gold, right? 220. Why am I multiplying this?
Yeah, it's 100 gold.
Okay, 22,000 gold. If you guys have that much saved up in your accounts, you can basically get all the cards. If you've been playing with just like.
Wait, actually, I'm not sure if it guarantees it because like the distribution of rarities per pack doesn't change, right? It's not like after this many number of packs, you're gonna get a pack that's 5 legendaries if you're missing 5 legendaries.
I don't know how it works.
I'm not sure how that works.
But the expansion only has 135 cards, right? So, wait, I forgot to count golden cards. So it's 135 minus the legendaries times 4, and then plus the legendaries times 2, right? Because you can only have one each per legendary.
Kane Sunfury, is that the fourth one?
Third. It's the third.
Third. Okay, third. I thought it was the fourth one. All right, we're counting up to 3 legendaries now.
Didn't you get something between evocation and there was Ladybudge, something that I missed, then evocation, and then Kane.
Yeah, there was like I think we were up to 4.
I was asking what it was.
Yeah, I remember Waiting Moon saying that.
I didn't see. Okay,
no.
Let's check it.
Okay, we're 4. Okay, we'll just put it to 4 now. We'll just put it to 4 now. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, not paying attention. Oh. Okay, 5. I think my maybe set it with the audio, so like that.
There's our fifth.
Go down.
490.
Okay. Okay. So, I think we still have. Yeah, we're gonna give away the extra cards here, but to anyone out there in the chat right now that has any more extra questions, just for clarification or like something that they want to know but don't know initially and can't be answered by just searching for it online, and you want to have a more personalized answer, you can ask us right now. Of course, nothing too personal, like what's my age or something like that. A little bit corny, but yeah, you can ask anything about Hearthstone, guys, and we will be answering this. So please do right now in the chat, as we are trying to figure out how many. Wait, I'll try to make it in like a announcer voice. How many legendary cards can Karakute open in this card opening segment? So does that work?
The price is right.
The prize is right, or the card is right. Yeah. Oh, okay. So we have a question from Joseph Pena, and he's asking right now, how long does it take for the meta to settle? I think this is more of a not really, how do you call this? This is an open-ended question, but from your experience, guys, like how long will a meta take for it to settle? Or we'll start with Gaea first. Or yeah, okay, Waning Moon.
So whenever a new expansion comes out, it's usually really volatile. Let's say maybe the first week or so, there's almost no meta because it's changing every day, and then it sort of settles. You sort of start to see a pattern after maybe a week of playing, where people are copying decks that they've seen on stream, or people are posting decks on Twitter that they hit legend with. Then that becomes the meta. But then even when it sort of settles like that, it can still change at any time, because the meta is more of a reflection of what most people are playing, what most people think the best deck is right now, but it's always subject to change, right? It's always gonna evolve as people continue to figure out the game. So it's gonna, sometimes even months into a meta, it'll still change with the discovery of a new deck or a new tech or a new understanding of how some matchup should be played. So yeah, it really depends.
It really depends. Okay, I'm gonna change how we ask the questions. I'm gonna ask different questions to each of you guys. So next up is for Gaea. And I think you can give this guy a really good answer, because this is something that I think a lot of Hearthstone players who want to get into a competitive scene.
Oh, Hanar! Sorry. I'm so happy.
No worries. You can blurt like that. And yeah, it is the Hanar. So again, we could maybe high five later at the end of the stream, like just on webcam or something.
Is that the fifth?
Wait, we already had the fifth with this.
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
It's okay.
What's the question?
It's okay.
Sorry.
Okay, so here's the question from Kenneth Matthew Chong. He asks, where can we compete in tournaments? So this might be easy to answer and maybe also difficult to answer, because we don't know where these tournaments come out from. So maybe you can answer him. Where can he find possible tournaments?
Right now it's all online because we are quarantined. We don't have any physical tournaments. So when this pandemic is over, knock on wood, there is going to be fireside gatherings again, I believe. AKG Games organizes some. They have their own league that's in planning and about to be, in full force, delayed by COVID, but what can you do? I would advise checking Fireside Gatherings on Blizzard's website. You can just Google Fireside Gatherings and then you'll be able to search by your area. Aside from that, there's open tournaments, qualifiers going on every weekend for the next Masters Tour. But this is for probably higher level players. I wouldn't recommend joining these unless you at least regularly hit Legend and have 3 strong meta decks. And there's also third-party tournament organizers you can find online. I know that Mogul, in conjunction with Razer, and is holding both Battlegrounds and standard tournaments every so often. So just check like the Hearthstone Philippines or whatever your region is, check that Facebook page. There will be people posting. And yeah.
Yeah, perfect answer. I was also about to suggest some of the ones that you've already said. So I'm just gonna cycle through Gaea and Waning because we need Kara to focus on the legendaries because we
On
might
counting,
be
'cause the
missing the
rest of
count.
us
Yeah,
can't count.
exactly. Yeah, we're sorry, Kara. You got the counting job as of the moment. Okay,
Sorry.
going to Waning. I think this is also a really good question for him since he's definitely a long-standing pro already. Has been in the Hearthstone scene for, I think, since the beginning. Was it Waning or near the beginning of Hearthstone? Okay,
Pretty much the beginning.
Yeah, pretty much the beginning. Awesome. So here's the question for you, my man. So asking anonymously for the pros, how can I improve my game in general? How do I approach my games? What kind of mindset do you take when playing in tournaments? So this, I think, is a really awesome question and definitely something that Waning Moon can give us some light on. So Waning, what do you think?
I mean, for me, a lot of it is psychological. Right? When I'm playing a tournament, I have to be completely focused. I have to be in the zone. I have to be, because there are days when I'm just laddering and I'll be an autopilot, and you're not putting as much thought into every move that you might if it were a serious game or if you're playing a tournament. So a lot of it is you have to know how to get into that state of mind whenever you need to, and you have to have a good mindset towards how you learn, how you improve. Like if you lose a game, you have to try to understand what you did wrong, what you could have done better, if you misplayed, or if maybe you weren't playing the best deck that you possibly could have. You have to always focus on things that you can actually control, right? Not necessarily the cards you drew or anything like that. You want to focus on the best things that you could have done, and whatever you can do to improve, you should try to figure out, whether it's the meta or specific plays. And then, of course, like research. You go on Twitter, see what people are playing, see what people are hitting legend with, watch streams. If you're new, get familiar with the mechanics of the game, and try to understand the basic concepts, like tempo or value or things like that.
Yeah, something that stood out to me the most with your answers is autopiloting. Like not piloting, like asking somebody to play your account, but I actually have experienced this before where if you play any kind of competitive game, sometimes your brain just goes on auto, and whatever you've experienced in the past, you just do it automatically, and then that kind of stunts your growth as a player. So you might want to, like Waning Moon said here, keep your state of mind focused on what's happening around you, and aside from that, prepare. So that's like super awesome answer to the question, man. All right, so let's look for more questions here in the chat. Let me just zoom in my face on the second monitor because I can't see it properly.
Kara's cat is cute. Si Kara cat is very cute in the background a while ago.
Oh, Kara also has... Yeah, a while ago.
She has a lot of
He was
cats.
there a while ago. I'm not sure if Khaleesi or I forgot the name of your other cat. But...
Winter.
You ever... Oh, you have your other cat named Khaleesi? Oh, that's nice. Okay, so we have another question here from Joseph Pena. And I guess I'll ask this to Gaea first, and if anyone wants to chime in, awesome. So the question is, what are the top 5 must-craft legendaries for this expansion? Or at least at the start of this expansion. Since we don't know yet what's the best cards, what are your cards that you might want to suggest to our
that's
viewers?
exactly why I don't want to suggest, because we don't know. A lot of the times pro players make predictions and then they're absolutely wrong. So do not spend your dust this early. Repeat, do not spend your dust. But if you had to, Mayav.
Yeah.
Mayav. I am like 90% sure Mayav will be in the net. Probably even higher. But then I'm leaving the extra 10% so that people don't blame me if it's actually not that good.
Take this with an incredible amount of salt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I repeat, don't craft. But in my opinion, Anar, Um, the what was the? Can I just take everybody's picks and put it together so that we're all at
That's
fault?
perfectly
So
fine.
Kara
Okay,
said
so
Akama, Dustin said Reliquary of Souls. We're all in agreement about Kane, so that's 5 already, right?
yeah. All right, there you go. It's fine. How about you, Wayne? Do you want to chime in or do you want to go to the next question?
I think Kane's probably the safest, right? Because everyone's gonna want to play
Yeah.
Demon Hunter, and Kane is almost sure to be in every Demon Hunter deck. You want to play the new class, you want to experience the new content. Kane's the safest one to craft. For the rest, you just wait and see. Because it's really hard to predict what's gonna happen in the meta. It depends on so many factors. Just
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah. You know, I'll be honest. I keep like in my head. I'm not sure if the other viewers are also like this, but whenever I hear Kane, I immediately think of Cairn Bloodhoof. Was it? You know, the Tauren chieftain. I'm not sure why.
I
It just
think of Kane the
sounds
wrestler.
that is okay. That is also fair. We also have we have a lot of cards that actually can sound like they're
also-
they're either wrestlers or wrestling moves.
Yeah, no Grand Slam.
What was the other
How
one?
many, Kara?
You picked? Yeah, how many was it,
Yeah,
Kara?
just gonna.
Let's just
Yeah, that's it.
cheater.
How do we know? Wait, there's. There,
Check
Outland.
if you actually got duplicate protection. I don't
can
know if
double-check
it's
that.
active already. Yeah.
I think it's active.
So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got 10.
10 legendaries for
That
now?
number was 10. Yep, 10.
Okay. Do we still keep going or is this already the one?
Oh, that's all. That's everything.
Oh, man, we burned through all those cards by just talking with the chat. Awesome.
Turns out we are very talkative.
Yeah. Wait. Do we have a winner already? Wait, we're still tallying the votes, guys. Our chat admin will do their best to give you the answers already, so please wait. Also, hang on. I do have an important announcement for you guys out there. So I'm just popping it out right now. Please do forgive me. We had such a fun time talking about everything that I forgot to host the show. Okay, so right now, guys, we have. I am lost at where I'm supposed to find this one. Okay. Okay, hang on. I need to get the link again. Wait. Oh, here we go. So here it is, guys. We have an important regional promo from Blizzard happening right now. In celebration of the Demon Hunter's upcoming arrival to the tavern, players from Southeast Asia region will be eligible to participate in a regional-specific campaign and receive at least 3 free Hearthstone packs. So while we're waiting for the image, again, you can pre-register right now to get these free card packs. It is up until April 7th. So today is April 4th. You still have 3 days, guys. So if you're, a little bit lazy, you don't want to do it right now, like Asarai, I don't have the time today. You got tomorrow, you got day after tomorrow, the day after tomorrow's tomorrow. And anyways, April 7th. And whoever completes this pre-registration will get at least 3 free Hearthstone packs. So you're seeing right now the link, which is bit.ly or bit.ly/Demon Hunter free packs. This is not... This is a legitimate website, so guys, don't be afraid or anything. This is gonna push you to go through the Hearthstone website, and then you just have to register. After that, you get yourself some free packs. You don't lose anything at all. It's completely free. That's all you got to do. So, you don't lose anything. So there you have it. Also, don't forget to follow, again, AKG Games Philippines Facebook page for more awesome content like this, because we're going to be announcing news. We're going to be announcing announcements. We're going to be announcing giveaways and promos. Yes, a lot of stuff coming out from AKG Games Philippines.
I'm doing the promo right now. Can confirm it's a legit site. Yeah.
No, there you go. See, Gaea has confirmed for you guys, so you don't have to be afraid. Gaea is our guinea pig here. Okay, so I've also gotten the winners of the classic card packs, all of them, I believe. Okay, so for the classic card pack winners, as well as the... Is this already the winner for the Mega Bundle? Do we have it already?
Ooh.
Oh, wait, hang on. Hang on, guys. We gotta amp up the pressure here. Okay, so I'm gonna announce. All right, we're gonna do the super intense music in a bit. So I'm just gonna announce the classic card packs winner first. Or of course, before that, here is the bundles that you can buy as of the moment. So the Ashes of Outlands bundle includes the 55 Ashes of Outlands card packs, the Serpentine card pack. If you guys are wondering what it was or what it looks like, it is that one on the left, as well as the card pack that has been popping out during the entire show. And then you get yourself a random Ashes of Outlands Golden Legendary card, all for, let me just, again, double check the price so I don't make a mistake. It is $49.99 for the Ashes of Outlands bundle, and for the Mega Bundle, because we got to put emphasis on the Mega, includes 90 AOO card packs, Ashes of Outlands packs, the Lady Vaj Shaman Hero, I believe that is the skin, Serpentine card back, and a random Ashes of Outlands Golden Legendary card, plus 4 arena tickets and Battleground perks. So if you're a big fan of Arena, or also, like me, a big fan of Battlegrounds, you'd like to probably get this Mega Bundle, which, of course, retails at $79.99, all this being USD. So, save accordingly. If you guys are already looking forward to this, you haven't saved up yet, you might want to. These are your Ashes of Outlands bundle and Mega Bundle. So, wrapping my hands right now, let's announce the winners of the classic card packs. Again, this is just to reiterate, just for making sure that you guys hear who are the winners. So for the classic card packs, we have Jed Guico, Benjo Ramos, Daryl Malabayabas, Jomo Symbol, Miko Peña, Merix Bartola, Litin Ko, Robert Gonzalez, Joseph Peña, Kenneth Chong, Julie Ann Pangilingan, and the guy who wins the legendary, the legendary cards guessing with the card pack opening with Karakute is Manuel Rosal. So again, Manuel Rosal. So you can just restart the stream. Yeah. Congratulations to those guys. And of course, I won't forget, guys, are you ready, guests? I'm not sure how we're supposed to do this. So intense music from Gaea, then just the three of us doing drum rolls. Is it all right, Waning, Kara? Let's do like that for the Mega Bundle winner. Because Gaea already did it, so I want to hear Gaea do it again.
Intense music? Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. Is that all right? No, I don't know.
Okay.
Do we do it or no?
Yeah, sure. Let's for the memes.
There we go. For the memes. All right, there we go. Okay, so for the Mega Bundle winner, I believe I can pronounce this correctly. Our winner is Kenji Villafuerte. There you go. Congratulations for winning the Ashes of Outlands Mega Bundle here at our Hearth to Hearth Talk presented by AKG Games Philippines. Now, again, name of the winner is Kenji Villafuerte. So, my man, if you're there in the chat, you can say hi, but you've already won it. We will be contacting you, for your prize, and our chat admin is going to be the one to do it. So, wow, we've done it. We've finished it, guys. Again, round of applause to you guys. Thank you so much, Gaea, Waning Moon, Karakute, I just want to ask you guys real quick, to tell to the viewers where they can find you. Let's start with Gaea, Waning, then Karakute. So Gaea, I know there's like a link already down there, but maybe they can find you elsewhere. Where can the viewers, see you more?
No, find me here on Facebook because I'm also doing a giveaway on my page only for the standard bundle, not the mega bundle, but it's going until April 6th. I'll draw a winner. The instructions are on a post here on my Facebook. Other than that, you can follow my Twitter at GiaD_ because Gia_D was taken. That's it.
What kind of monster would take G_D? I'm kidding. All right, it's a super awesome name. Anyways, to Waning Moon, where can they find you, or any added message to our viewers out there? There you go. Yeah.
At Waning Moon HS on Twitter.
Any extra, message to our viewers out there about Ashes of Outlands, or where maybe you talked about a tournament that you're joining right now. Where when are you going to be playing? Maybe they can watch you online.
Yeah. So the next Masters Tour is Masters Tour Junk Opening, but that's going to be held online because of the current situation.
Yeah.
That's I believe in mid-May. So watch out for that. Support that stream. You can watch it on YouTube because that's where Masters Tours are streaming now. Yep.
All right. And how about you, Karakute, or Kara? I'm sorry, I added the other one. Any final messages?
For me, I'll be hosting a tournament tomorrow. It's called the Hearthstone Philippines Provincial Brawl. It's for those guys in the community quarantine. Please join the tournament if you're outside Metro Manila. We're encouraging you to join, win some free packs. I'm hosting it together with Envy. So join the group Hearthstone Philippines. Follow my page, Karakute HS. Same with Twitter, Karakute HS. And of course, AKG Games Philippines. Follow it, guys. Follow, subscribe.
Yeah, perfect. I will help you with that. So yeah. You anything else? Anything else, Kara?
That's all. Thanks, everyone, for watching.
All right, awesome.
Yeah.
And that wraps it up, guys. Thank you so much to everybody who joined us for this heart-to-heart talk, the first ever produced by AKG Games Philippines. And again, we'd like to ask you to follow AKG Games Philippines for more awesome content such as this one. And so for the final time, hope you guys enjoyed the Year of the Phoenix. Hope you guys enjoyed Ashes of Outlands as well as the new Demon Hunter class. Play it up, try the prologue. It's gonna come out April 8th for the Demon Hunter class, so be prepared, because it's what you have to do. You gotta be prepared, or else Illidan will vex you for it. Anyways, my name is Asarai. This is the Heart to Heart Talk, and again, Gaea, Waning Moon, Karakute. Guys, thank you so much. We're gonna be tuning off. See you on the next one. Ciao and bye.
Stay safe.